pose a threat, I want them on top.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. That's what we're instructed to say.
Lazar, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1 0
doesn't have your best interest in mind. The government is self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host tonight, Ash, the reptilian from Mars. And we'd like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Wednesday night, and that means it is show night on the Fringe FM. We're streaming live on Facebook, we're streaming live on YouTube, and we're talking aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, all the things we love to talk about, all the things this show is about, after all, including the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, you name it, we like to talk about it. And the whole theme is you and your reality, and the reality we live in. And I hate to say it right in the intro, but Alex Jones was right. There is an information war, and we are in the middle of it. And here we are talking about it, thinking about it, and doing all the things that we love to do. Tonight, we are going to be talking about UFO reverse engineering, and that's what's on deck tonight. We're going to look back at Bob Lazar and some of the things that he said, and maybe how a lot of that has maybe or not come true, and a lot of the other things. But before we do any of that and get into the rest of that stuff, let's say hi to Ash. What's up, buddy? Are you out there? Testing 1 2. Can you hear me on Mars?
Hello. How are you guys doing tonight?
So good. So far, so good. No problem here. And welcome back to the show, my man. For those of you that don't know,
thank you.
I know we've picked up an audience here that is not familiar with us in the long term, but Ash is actually a recurring co-host on the show. He's been around for quite a while now, and he's the alien expert when it comes to things because, of course, well, being on Mars helps with that, doesn't it?
And being an alien myself also qualifies me a little bit, you know?
Yeah, as you would expect, or as you would figure. So hold on, I'm working that out. Let's see. Okay, so as we get going here, that's what's on deck tonight. We got here with Ash. Sorry about that. We trying to work out a technical difficulty live on the air here. But okay, so what we're doing is that's what we're talking about tonight. And let me point this out. As always, this show is about transparency as well, and how many times you can not get a hold of people when you want to get a hold of them. And so we do this live to include you. We always have, and part of that is this phone number we've got. If you want to be part of the show tonight, just dial this, 702-957-1037. One more time, that's 702 957-1037. You can also join the Discord, and you can find both the Discord link and the phone number at the official website, which is troubledminds.org. Troubledminds.org. And also, we have another Discord running. If you guys want to join that, please do. thefringe.fm/chat/chat, and that'll give you a direct invite straight to their Discord. And looking at reading the chat there, reading the chat everywhere, trying to do 22 things at once, and that's just the way it rolls. That's how we do it. Let's see if we can fix this. We might have to hang tight till the commercial to fix you up there, Ash. Okay, so all right, so what we got tonight is exactly that. So if you go back to the old days, everybody remembers 1989, and, well, at least those of us that are old enough, right? I mean, yeah, those of us that are old enough. But 1989 was the year that George Knapp broke the story with Bob Lazar. And everybody knows that, everybody that's into ufology, of course, knows that the story goes just a little something like this in brief. We'll have some clips coming from Bob Lazar that were taken from a long time ago, and see if some of his statements have held up to maybe some of the things with TTSA and some of these other claims with maybe Bigelow and alien alloys and stuff like that. So that's what's on deck tonight. But the story goes like this. George Knapp was contacted by an individual that was anonymous at the time, and he said that he was working for the United States government reverse engineering UFOs. And he was working inside a place called Area 51, right? And we're talking about S4 and that whole bit, right? Everybody knows this mythology. This is an old one. But the thing about it is that it has persisted. So Bob Lazar kind of went into, I don't want to say hiding, but he certainly went quiet, okay? He went quiet for quite a long time, and then he finally came back damn near 30 years later, and he started doing some interviews there. So we talked about that recently, how he resurfaced. But what we haven't done is actually circle back and look at what some of the statements are that he made way back. Because there's some things that he's changed. He's backed off some other claims, and you know how time kind of changes things. Maybe the memory fades or whatever else. All right. Anything else I missed there that you can add, Ash? I'm going to try and fix you up here.
He worked on the it's a good synopsis. It's a pretty it kind of was like a freak accident that it even came out, and prior to the story, no one really knew anything about Area 51 or any of this stuff, and then a lot of this comes from that. And then it, kind of bled into the culture with like X-Files and Mulder's trying to like sneak on the base and stuff. Just a really fascinating story. And as time goes on, like a lot of the things he said turned out to be pretty true. Just kind of like how you said about Alex Jones. Alex Jones, maybe he's got that prophet status in some degree, but he's also, says some stuff that maybe didn't come true. So I guess we're going to get through some of that tonight.
Definitely. Okay, so let's just go with the intro here. Just a couple to kind of fill in the story of how this happened in 1989. And again, the story was broken by George Knapp, and Bob Lazar is he's the guy that supposedly worked for the government. And of course, this is highly controversial. Some people call him just a gigantic liar. Some people say that he's legit, and that argument is still happening today, so many years later. And it makes you wonder, right? What do you guys believe about Bob Lazar? That's the question tonight. What do you believe about alien crash retrievals, the actual process of reverse engineering them, and what do you think about Bob Lazar and his story? Those are the questions as we consider the conversation tonight. And always looking to hear from you if you want to be part of it. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link. Troubledminds.org is the official website. You can find the phone number and the Discord link there. And let's go. Let's start with this clip. And this explains Bob Lazar and how this all began.
A once secret air base in the Nevada desert is marking an unofficial anniversary today.
Area 51 was one of the most secretive places on the planet, but that anonymity vanished forever because of what happened 25 years ago. A controversial electronics whiz told a fantastic tale during a TV interview, and the story still reverberates today.
The I-Team's George Knapp played a part in what became an international sensation. He's here with an update.
Setting the stage, Dave, you might not know know this, but 25 years ago, a young anchorwoman named Paula Francis and I were prepping for the 5 o'clock news when we learned that our scheduled live interview had canceled. We placed a call to aviator John Lear to ask if he could get a friend of his to fill the spot, a guy who reportedly worked out near Area 51 and had seen flying saucers out there. It sounded outrageous at the time, but that interview with Bob Lazar turned Area 51 upside down. We coaxed a reluctant Lazar into returning to Las Vegas to talk about it.
I don't know. Sometimes I really do regret it, and I almost feel like apologizing to him, saying that, I'm sorry I let things out. Can I have my job back?
25 years after he was forever transformed into Bob the UFO guy, Bob Lazar says he regrets ever talking about flying saucers or a secret base in the Nevada desert or any of the things that made his name known all over the world.
There isn't a day I don't get emails, and I try and get this across to him. Look, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Well, I don't believe the story. Great, pass it around. I really don't want you to, because it makes life difficult for me.
Okay, right. So these are old clips again. So this was a 25-year anniversary. So this is some years back, and it's been past 30 now. So 2019 was 30 years. So we're 31 years on, and some of those comments, right, are pretty telling. Is that he thinks that a lot of this has kind of ruined his life. And as you would expect, right? You have all these people. You went from being completely anonymous, and now suddenly everybody in the whole world knows who you are. This went viral way back in the day before the term was viral, before COVID was viral. You know what I mean? Sorry for the poor joke, but that's exactly how this was. And so suddenly he went from nobody to the UFO guy, and everybody the world over knew him as that. And so it starts to make you wonder and starts to make you think if like he was trying to gain some attention, that now he's regretting that. Who knows? Again, like I said, I'm not here to sell the story as truth or not true. That's up to you to decide. As always, this is not the answer show. This is the question show. So that's what we do here. And so hang tight. We're talking about alien crash retrievals, and if that's the case, then reverse engineering alien technology. Anything to kick in there, Ash, before we play the next clip here?
No, yeah, this kind of took the world by storm. It was it's crazy, like how this actually came to be, right? Like, this was such a series of weird events that kind of had this come to fruition. But if his story is true, shortly after he kind of spilled the beans, security went through the roof, right? They wanted to make sure something like this never happened again. So if this situation didn't happen, maybe some other situation, some other leak would have happened. And I think that when this story came out, people were pretty skeptical for a good reason. But he did have a lot of corroborating evidence. But over time, it's become more and more credible. And it just fits into kind of like a series of, like a puzzle that's been slowly being put together over time. So, yeah, really, really interesting story. Probably one of the, the more cornerstones of the UFOlogy. If everyone's heard of Bob Lazar at some point. And, yeah, it's a really fascinating story.
Definitely good stuff. It's definitely going to be like a top 5 UFO story, right? If we're talking, Roswell is probably like number 1 that started all of it. I think Bob Lazar, reverse engineering UFOs with the U.S. government's got to be a top 5. Everybody's heard of this. Anybody who's listening to the Fringe FM tonight or is listening on YouTube or Facebook, I know you've heard of this guy. So interesting. We're going to hear some things he said from years ago, and like Ash said, maybe some of that stuff holds up. Maybe it doesn't. Again, I leave that up to you. But okay, so let's go continue on with this clip. Thank you there for that, Ash, and let's keep on trucking. Part 2, Bob Lazar, action.
A quarter century ago, not many people outside of Nevada had ever heard of Area 51, the mysterious base 100 miles north of Las Vegas, a place the government said didn't exist. It was the location of choice for all manner of black projects, spy planes that were kept secret from the public. Former CIA pilot John Lear remembers the day that Area 51 became a household name. This is home video he shot as a KLAS news truck prepared to broadcast a live interview interview from Lear's home. Lazar was understandably nervous.
Yeah, he was nervous because he was putting it all out on the line there, and here he was going to, reveal all this secret that he'd signed, that he was going to never tell anybody.
It's not only a crime against the American people.
In the interview, Lazar's face was hidden, and he used a pseudonym, Dennis, which was the first name of his boss out in the desert.
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers.
Lazar claimed he worked intermittently at a location called S4 south of Groom Lake, the main facility of Area 51. He said the hangars had been built into the side of a mountain disguised as desert, and inside were a set of 9 flying saucers. Months later, he revealed his identity to the world and said the technology he'd worked on was from somewhere else, that it was being taken apart to figure out how it worked.
Okay, being taken apart to figure out how this UFO worked. Now, the UFO itself, the one that apparently Bob Lazar was able to work on, according to him, as the years passed and changed, it didn't seem like it was some sort of crash retrieval project. I think he stated in more recent times that it was some sort of thing that was found from like they found it buried or something like this. I'm not exactly sure. So I'll have to follow up on that exact thing. There's so much to this story from, again, 1989, 30 plus years worth of this, that things change. Things change over time in the statements that have been made, et cetera. But I think in the more recent interviews, I'm pretty sure that's what he said. He was talking about this wasn't a crashed UFO that the government was working on. It was more like they found it in like an archaeological type situation. Do you remember any of that at all, Ed?
Right. Yeah, so he mentioned that there was like 9. So even if he's off by 4, there's 5. So that's already fucking amazing. I mean, excuse me. That's already very amazing. It's fascinating because that means that something that maybe crash landed here thousands and thousands of years ago is more advanced beyond anything that we have now. I mean, we were like monkeys in the trees when these things were flying around and crash landed. So, I mean, that is just pretty mind blowing. That's like a Steven Spielberg kind of moment, And so he mentioned there was a variety of different ones. There's all different kinds. And it seemed like none of them, no UFO was exactly the same, and that they were retrieved from multiple different ways. So, yeah, I've heard of other stories where the Roswell crash, the official one, was us kind of shooting one down or interfering with one, and it was a good advantage for us to get a hold of like newer technology. But yeah, apparently this, according to Bob Lazar and his story, that some of these were just dug up, and so one thing I hope is, if this story is true, that these things will eventually become part of history, that these things will be taught. Will we see photos of these archaeological digs, right, and what happened and who was there? Like, if this veil of secrecy, when does it come open? Ever? Do things just get swept under the rug forever? I don't know,
I think that's the question here. And again, I think at the heart of it lies whether there are UFOs or not, and not clearly the ones in the sky. I think probably many of us really understand that there are unidentified flying objects, right? They exist for sure in the sky. But I think it remains to be seen, in my opinion anyway, that whether we have actually captured these things or commandeered them or found them or whatever the case may be, and actually did some sort of technology situation with this where we're trying to work on it. I mean, again, I don't know. Like, I'm not here trying to convince anybody of any of that, but what do you guys think? Again, that's the question tonight. Did you believe the Bob Lazar story? Do you believe that the United States government, or any world government for that matter, is actually in possession of extraterrestrial vehicles? And if that's true, right, then you would imagine we'd probably be working on them to reverse engineer. Do you believe any of that stuff, or do you think it's a bunch of hooey, like a bunch of UFO propaganda for who knows, whatever reason? Like, I think that's probably the the conversation here is, when this happens and you're looking at these things and talking about them and thinking about them, is it legitimate, or is this some sort of disinformation campaign? And that's the most fascinating part to me, because just looking at the way the government does its thing, there's a ton of disinformation out there. All you have to do is open a newspaper any day, or fire up the internet. Right. It's out there. It's in your face. So I think that's the weirdest part of all this, is that if this is real, it changes the paradigm of everything, literally everything. Pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, and it's you mentioned something. We've kind of, the narrative, the official narrative has shifted forward. I know there's a lot of people are skeptical of disclosure ever happening, and that's completely justified. It's basically been teased at for so long, and then for one reason or another kind of pulled back. And so, well, I guess so the conversation now is there are UFOs, right? Officially say that with these Tom DeLonge videos, with kind of where the conversation's going. And so once the conversation kind of settles, then you kind of like go a little bit further, right? So who are they? Are they us? Are they them? And I guess that's kind of ultimately been the question, right? Like, people have seen stuff for forever, right? And in the sky, weird stuff. I mean, we've had a ton of viewers. I know people who are out there listening, you guys have seen weird stuff too. Is it alien, or is it ours? And ultimately, that's the question. I think tonight we'll kind of explore maybe the both scenario, right? Right? That seems like the most logical conclusion to come to. And this Bob Lazar story kind of corroborates that.
Yeah, it's been said that there's two types of UFOs, right? There's ours, and there's ones that are not ours. They belong to them, right? Quote them, whatever that them means. So yeah, I think, is that John Lear that said that? I can't remember exactly who said that, but yeah, and those are the two options here, right? And if they're ours, then we have been in some capacity reverse engineering these things. So we're going to take a look at this alien reproduction vehicle, some of the stuff that Bob Lazar said tonight, and that's what we're talking about. If you guys want to be part of the show, you know what to do. Dial this phone number, 702-957-1037, and I want to know if you guys really think that the Bob Lazar story is true. And if it is, what do you think that means for ufology, for the future of humanity, basically? Like, these are really, really big questions. And I think that, unfortunately, it doesn't get enough. Oddly enough, it's getting airplay, but I'm not sure if the right questions are being asked here. So, again, that's why we do the show. That's what's going on tonight. And, again, I'm here with Ash. This is Ash the Reptilian from Mars. He co-hosts with us from time to time. And we're talking Bob Lazar. We're talking reverse engineering, UFOs, and the rest of this. We'll get into some more Bob Lazar and some of the things he said over the past 30 years coming up in just a few minutes here, so hang tight. But as for now, one more time, I want to know what you think. You guys know what we think. We're here on microphones. We're talking about this stuff all the time, multiple times a week, do all kinds of shows all over the place. Been doing it for years. So my opinion is not important. The opinion that's most important here is your opinion. So I'd love to hear from you guys. If you want to be part of the show one more time, you know what to do. It's really easy. You just dial this phone number, 702-957-1037. One more time, that's 702-957-1037. You're listening to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. I'm here with Ash, and we're talking about crash retrievals. We're talking about reverse engineering UFOs. And if the government has these things, what do you think that means for the present and the future? Stay tuned. We will be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host tonight, Ash, the Reptilian from Mars. and we're talking about reverse engineering UFOs. Do you think this is a thing? Or do you think this is some sort of UFO mythology concocted as a disinformation campaign by the U.S. government? A lot of options here, a lot of things to think about, a lot to talk about, and we are live. We're broadcasting on the Fringe FM. We are also live on YouTube and Facebook, and streaming that right on. You can go to troubledminds.org to find all those links if you prefer, and come say hi. We're doing this live. Love to hear what you have to say regarding this. Do you believe that these UFOs are real, and not just the ones in the sky? The UFOs that have been supposedly, according to Bob Lazar and the rest of that, turned into work. It turned into the reverse engineering bit and the rest of this stuff. I'd love to hear from you. One more time, 702-957-1037. And that's 702-957-1037. That is a Las Vegas area code, and we are a short drive from Area 51. So, yeah, I have been up there. The Little Ale Inn. I've been there. Well, welcome back, Ash. You there, buddy?
I'm here.
All right.
I'm hanging out.
All right, hanging out. Okay, cool. Let's continue with this. All right, so there's a few things now that we need to hear about. I think what Bob Lazar said. Okay, so there's some specific things that he said back in the day that you kind of wonder if this holds up and if his story kind of stuck with the future Bob Lazar, right? We're going to time travel a little bit. It is nice that you're able to go back and on the internet and find these old conversations and these old things that people say, and then kind of come back and really check years later, like do a actual fact check. And when we're talking about UFOs, I think it's an important thing. So let's hear right here Bob Lazar talking about these UFOs and how these craft work.
It produces a gravity wave, which is similar to the gravity wave that the Earth produces. However, the craft phase shifts the wave. In other words, it turns the wave not really in an opposite polarity, but something to that effect, where it will work against the natural gravity wave of the Earth, and it produces lift in that effect. Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field. Being inside that field essentially doesn't shield you, but essentially you're in, and this is a terrible way to say it, almost in a different realm, because you're now influenced only by that gravitational field. For instance, people wonder how a craft like this can make a turn at such high speed, a 90-degree turn, when they would imagine people slamming up against the wall or something to that effect. Well, that really wouldn't happen. Inertia would have no effect. You're in a distortion, and don't forget that gravity distorts time and space, so really nothing is going to influence you while you're in there. There are 3 amplifiers. The craft can operate on a single one, can lift off the ground. The way in which it's propelled are 2 different ways. There's what they call Omicron configuration, where the craft is using one generator, or a Delta configuration, where it's utilizing all 3. Delta configuration would be for space travel. Essentially, the craft will tilt up on its side, as opposed to a science fiction movie where you see a flying saucer moving around. The craft will tilt up on its side, focus the 3 gravity generators to a single point, and move through space that way. Moving around.
Okay, so I think it goes on a little bit longer, but a little bit long clip for the radio there. But you see what he's saying, right? So he's talking very specifically. He's talking about how this thing actually had different settings, right, for space travel or for being in the atmosphere or different sorts of things, right? And so he's actually speaking as if he's had firsthand knowledge of working on this and kind of explaining how this thing works. That's an old clip. Have you heard that one, Ash?
Yeah, I've kind of heard that in a variety of ways where it's funny that I heard a different story somewhere else where when these craft are flying, when they point those 3 engines in a single point, they freaking take off. But at like low flight, it's actually really difficult to fly with these things apparently. So if there's been like stories of them kind of like kind of wibbly wobbly trying to kind of like fly like at normal speeds, but then when they tilt sideways and they point that sucker, they're gone. And it kind of reminds me of the Tic Tac event incident where Commander Fravor from the Air Force, he witnessed the UFO, and it's really well documented. And it before the TikTok UFO, it looked like a TikTok, took off. It actually turned on its side, and then it popped right out into space. So it's pretty interesting that those there's one of those things to validate, right?
Yeah, it seems I think that's the fascinating part of this is when you start looking at what Bob Lazar said all those years ago, and then you start lining it up with exactly like the more modern incidents where they have radar data, which was confiscated, by the way. But there's actual like radar technicians that were there at the Nimitz incident with the Tic Tacs and all the rest of this, and it is exhibiting some of the same things that Bob Lazar talked about. Maybe not necessarily the actual Tic Tac shape of the thing, but the gravity defying, no inertia, the rest of this stuff, being able to do all that. So again, the more I kind of hear some of this stuff, and again, the Navy came out and said that this stuff is real. Lou Elizondo famously said that this stuff, he worked for ATIP inside the government, and this stuff was actually real, and the government has been paying attention to it and doing the rest of these things. So it just it's confounding, right? So you start to get the Bob Lazar stuff, talking about the Element 115 and a bunch of this other things. And now you have some of that corroborating information. And not only that, like you said, David Fravor, who's like an actual Top Gun type, like top notch pilot. He actually saw these things with his own eyes. He saw the flight characteristics with his own eyes, and again has radar data to back that up. People that were there on the Tic Tac incident on the Nimitz there, and so there's a ton of witnesses that have come forward and have talked about this. PJ Hughes is one, and there's a whole bunch more. There's a whole lot of people that were there and witnessed these things. So it kind of does. It lines up a little bit with what Bob Lazar said there. So let's play this. Let's play this next clip real quick. Now he's talking about how the reactors inside these spacecraft work. Okay, so again, these are old clips. This is not the new stuff from from 30 years later when he was doing the Jeremy Corbell special and all the rest of that. These are old statements. So let's see if some of these held up with what we now know regarding the TTSA stuff, the ATIP, the Lou Elizondo, Tic Tac, and the Nimitz, and all of these things. Let's hear what Bob Lazar said back in the day about how these reactors on the UFOs actually work.
Element 115 is in the top of the reactor, and the base of the reactor apparently is a small, something similar to a cyclotron. It's a particle accelerator. A particle is accelerated to high speed and then deflected up a small tube, and it's aimed at the 115. This transmutes the 115. Similar to the way we do that in a normal particle accelerator. This causes a reaction, a radiation emission that we really haven't seen before. It produces antimatter. This antimatter is guided down a tuned tube and reacts with a gas. When matter and antimatter react, they convert to 100% energy. This energy is converted, heat energy, is converted to electrical power in the reactor itself. This is done through a thermoelectric converter. And this electrical power is used to power other subsystems on the craft, though there is no wiring, as we would know it. Also, that's almost a byproduct of the reactor. The reactor also sets up a gravitational wave from the 115 being bombarded. This gravitational wave was present at the top of the reactor and is essentially guided in the same way microwaves are guided through tuned tubes. And this goes to their amplifying cavities and through the projectors that are in the bottom of the craft.
With the gravity generators running, is there thermal radiation danger to the crew?
There is no thermal radiation while the reactor is running. The thermionic generator is 100% efficient, which is in violation of the first law of thermodynamics. But in fact, it works.
But in fact, it works. Okay, so you hear what he said. So I'm not a scientist of any sort. So a lot of that sounds like mumbo jumbo to me. Quick, what's up, Axel in the chat says, antimatter and matter absolutely do not explode into heat energy. And so, again, I am not the expert here. I'm just going off what Bob Lazar is saying. He's talking about exotic propulsion technologies. And I don't know. Does it sound real? I don't know. What do you know about all the rest of that and the antimatter, matter, the reactor on that UFO, Ash?
Yeah, so I've actually kind of noticed a commonality in I guess like UFO alien reactors. So I studied the abduction phenomenon quite thoroughly, I would say is the word. And there seems to be kind of a similar generator in a lot of these abduction stories. So I'm kind of like looking to see if that generator is also present in these Bob Lazar stories. But I guess what he's saying is that they're producing so much energy that they can basically bend time and space using gravity waves. And then it's kind of like when you point these generators forward, you fall in that direction. So like you're falling up, right? Like you're you're falling up. And if it's true what he mentions, that it creates its own like kind of like puncture in kind of time and space, then that would explain how you can go fast. You can kind of make 90-degree turns like some of these UFOs have supposedly done. Otherwise, you would make one turn, everyone on board would die, and then the thing would fall out of space, and that'd be it. So it's pretty interesting. It's kind of like I guess this is the only way it would work, right? Is something like this, and it defies like a lot of the physics and laws that we know, and it kind of like, I guess it's like a loophole around some of these things, these limitations. But he mentioned one thing that was interesting is that element 115, which prior to it being discovered, he had talked about, and then later on it was discovered and validated to be true. I'm not, a chemist or anything, so I can't really look into that, if that's super valid or it's just kind of like not a big deal, or maybe it was, but he did predict that. But how you can basically, what I find interesting is that this element was supposedly, according to Bob Lazar, given to us, which means it's not present here. And they were claiming that it's not made and like anywhere near her, and that we have no access to it. But if you wanted to create a prison planet, if you wanted to control a population, a whole planet population, you just remove the resource that they would need to leave. And now they're stuck there. And now you can approach them whenever you want and leave, and they can't. So I just find it interesting, like this element, this propulsion means. He goes on to say that they like kind of make a propulsionary breakthrough, but he didn't really have access to that information. And that does kind of like validate the whole alien reproduction vehicle theory. But it's crazy. It's like, man, it's like, how far behind are scientists, our physics? These scientists are so stuck up. They know everything, this and that. But like, if I was a professional scientist, I would at least explore this idea, what this guy is saying. You could skip like decades of research, right? And it's kind of like cheating. But anyway, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the conversation. So we'll actually hear a little bit more from Bob Lazar about element 115 in just a sec. And I can't remember, I should have pulled the article for this, but there was an article I talked about today in the news show. I do a news show, guys, if you don't know, Sunday through Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific on Twitch. It's exclusive on Twitch and then gets ripped to YouTube the next day. So if you guys want to check it out, go hang out with us on Twitch Live, or you can check the archive on YouTube 24 hours later. So that stuff is all up on the YouTube page. Tons and tons, hours and hours of good conversation and years of actual hard work getting to this point in the radio show. So if you guys are into that, please go check out the YouTube channel. And I think there's hopefully you'll be pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of conversation about the news, the actual news, and about actual like larger concepts in life instead of just this lefty righty political dogma that's always cast around. But okay, so all right, so let's play a little bit about this the thingamajigger here. That's the Element 115. But before we do that, we're live. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Reading some chat here. I'll read some of the chat as we go, and some of the better, more relevant stuff. So go ahead and chat it up. I'll try and add it to the show here. But if you want to be part of the show tonight, I want to know what you think. Do you think Bob Lazar's full of it, or do you think that he's correct in some capacity, and we have reverse engineered UFOs that people are let's say, I guess you could even say that people are flying in some capacity. Maybe they're not flying them directly. Maybe they're some sort of remote control situation. But who knows, right? With this Tic Tac incident and all the rest of the Navy coming out admitting some of these things are real in the last 3 years. What does it mean? And is it related to Bob Lazar at all? Or like some people have alluded, do you think he's a fraud? I'd love to hear what you guys think. 702-957-1037. If you want to join the show on Discord, you can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. Please join the Discord at Fringe FM as well, fringe.fm/chat, and you'll get a direct invite straight to the Discord there, which is a chat and a voice client, by the way. So conversation goes on there 24 hours a day. Lots of smart people. Come meet us, come say hi, and come hang out. All right, so with all of that, let's go to what Bob Lazar actually said about Element 115. And again, like I've heard in the past, lots of actual scientists say that this is a bunch of hogwash, just a straight like garbage bunch of BS, and this guy's just kind of talking out his butt. And it's not, I don't know, like again, right? I'm not that guy. I didn't do these experiments myself. I've never seen Element 115 or any of this, or UFOs up close like this. So who knows, right? I think that's the question. Is he a fraud? Is he not? Like I said, I'm not trying to change your mind one way or the other. You make up your mind. But let's hear about Element 115 and keep on trucking here.
What is Element 115? Is it found here on Earth, or is it strictly an extraterrestrial material?
115 is strictly an extraterrestrial material. It probably occurs naturally in some other places, maybe other star systems. Some people not familiar with science or chemistry say, well, that's ridiculous. All the elements occur on Earth, but that's not true. And there are elements on the periodic chart that aren't found on Earth. I believe the Heavy Ion Research Lab in Darmstadt, Germany, has reached element 112 recently. So 115 isn't that far away. And when they synthesize it, it's not like they're making a couple ounces of it. They're talking about 1 or 2 atoms of it. To make any usable quantity of a heavy element like that is virtually impossible. Element 115 is stable. And for those familiar with chemistry, we know that elements with higher atomic numbers have shorter and shorter half-lives. However, when you reach a certain point, they call it the island of stability. There is a place, and we've theorized this for a long time, somewhere around 114 to 116, there should be an area in there where the nucleus of the atom is geometrically stable with protons and neutrons, where it no longer decays. It's not radioactive. 115 is, in fact, this element. In fact, it does occur again somewhere around element 247. Of course, we're nowhere near synthesizing that. We can only, predict things like that. But that's where 115 is.
Did the aliens, give us Element 115 in large quantities?
Whether or not it was given to us, I can't answer that question. However, I was told that we have 500 pounds by one of my coworkers. How it was obtained and where exactly it came from, I don't know. Whether it came in one of the crafts or it was separate cargo somewhere. Anyone can speculate, but I was told that was the figure.
You were able to get away with a sample of Element 115. How much did you get away with?
No comment.
No comment.
So, I wouldn't comment about that either.
Yeah, it's long been rumored that he did escape with a little bit of Element 115. And we're talking about Bob Lazar, guys, talking about, if you're just joining us, talking about reverse engineering UFOs and how this mythology kind of came to pass. This started over 30 years ago, 1989, with Bob Lazar, George Knapp, and breaking this story. Lots here to think about, lots to talk about as always. Hey, welcome to a talk show. And this is paramount to the future of humanity, if this is true or not. A lot really lies in the truthfulness of this conversation, and Bob Lazar, whether he's a fraud or whether he's real. A couple quick comments here. Axel says it would have to be some sort of 115 stable isotope. The regular element has a half-life of 0.65 seconds or so. And right, like he says, the island of stability, which actually we just talked about in the news show tonight, which I think they talked about synthesizing element 119 for the first time. I think they've actually gone that far. But so it's one thing to be able to see it for like a tiny fraction of a second, and it's another thing entirely to be able to have these things in that island of stability. So odd that both come up in the same day, kind of really in different contexts. But it's that's apparently the way this has gone, and it's not about really understanding and knowing what it is. It's about being able to keep these things stable so you can use them as some sort of power source. But anyway, like I said, that's as far as I understand it. I'm not any sort of scientist by any means, but there's been a lot of science apparently where they tried to track down Bob Lazar and follow the things he said, and they said no, he's full of it. So I don't know. What's up? Hippie in the chat says, yeah, I think Bob Lazar is unstable. Or it was a bit unstable. Anyway. All right. Anyway, so let's. Who knows, right? Who knows? I think that's the question, right? Like I said, if you guys looking to hear from you guys tonight, what do you think about this Bob Lazar thing, reverse engineering UFOs? Do you think they're ours? Do you think they're theirs? Do you think it's all a bunch of BS? Everything's on the table. We're not trying to make things up and make you believe things that aren't true. These are statements made by other people. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubledminds.org. So let's wrap this up, this part, before we take a quick break. What do you think, Ash? Element 115, the stability of all this, and I think I did do on the news show today, element 119. They just recently got it going, so I don't know. How does it make you feel? Test 1, 2. All right, we'll get back to that. We'll get right back to Ash.
Oh, hello.
You're good. You're on.
Hi.
What's up, man?
Hey.
Love that mute button.
Yeah. It's a finical button. But what's interesting about all this is that we're kind of seeing this trend, this push to kind of get some UFO disclosure out with these videos and whatever. But what's perfect about saying there are UFOs and what are those things in the sky is that you can kind of say that this technology somehow exists, but A, you're not saying that it's aliens. B, you're not saying it's the government. So the government can deny that we have anything of that nature, and then they don't have to have the alien conversation. But it's just enough to say, look, someone's doing it, and to kind of inject that into the culture. And I think one of the reasons is Bob Lazar has said in the past that they pull this technology out because they don't know how to reverse engineer it. It's like beyond our capacity, and that it's kind of like monkeys working on a reactor, and they pull these ships out, this technology out to kind of see if they can make headway. And it seems as if maybe they have potentially made some reproduction vehicles, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, and then that they hit their limits in science. Like science is like something that you need to like kind of have out in the open. It needs to be peer reviewed. The more people, the better, right? So if you're kind of doing it in secret, you are hindering yourself, and you're not using like the full capacity of the human race. So maybe this is their way of kind of getting it out. And I know that you have this story about Tom DeLonge having some materials. So maybe he's got material science. Maybe that's where they need the help.
Okay,
but
hold that thought,
it's
buddy.
kind of interesting.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. We got to take a break. You're listening to Troubled Minds. This is the Fringe FM. Stay tuned. We're talking about alien craft and re-engineering them. Be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host tonight, Ash. And we're talking about aliens. We're talking about conspiracy. We're talking about reverse engineering UFOs. And if this is some sort of mythology, some sort of disinformation campaign, or if this is actually real. As you know, I'm not here to convince you of any of those things. You decide. We're kind of looking at some of the evidence and discussing it and having an open mind, an open, troubled mind, as the case may be. And that's what's going on tonight. Going to continue talking about this. I don't know if you out there, Ash. Copy 1, 2. Testing. Mike
Check 1, 2.
Mike to Mars. Mike to Mars. Do you copy? I hear you, man. Okay, so we're good. All right, let me kill this music and let's get going. All right, so that's the thing. That's what we're talking about tonight. If you guys want to be part of the conversation, we are live. We are live on the Fringe FM. We are live on Facebook and YouTube as well. We're streaming this and talking about reverse engineering alien craft. And this story started a long time ago. And, I think you could even argue back to Roswell. Because, of course, if the crash happened then, that means the military has it. And if they had it, they would just put it in a warehouse and do nothing with it, right? It would probably be a major focus of them to get to the bottom of the technology so that we could use it in some capacity. So I think that
Mike, that's what they did in Indiana Jones.
They did. That's what I was thinking. They put it in the box and they put it in a warehouse, and that was that. It was a wrap. I'm not so sure that's the case. I don't know how you could actually ignore that. Okay, so let's now there's some other stories here that are actually kind of in line with what's going on here with the Bob Lazar story. Now, there's this thing called the alien reproduction vehicle. I'm not too familiar with it, but Ash here is going to kind of run us through this one. But so Bob Lazar said that, again, 1989, he worked in S4, Papoose Lake, all the rest of that, reverse engineering alien craft. Now, what is this alien reproduction vehicle?
Right. So, we've got this guy with these cool glasses out in the desert working at some base. He's got a pretty elaborate story. And you get little pieces of information, but it's nothing. It's still like one story, right? Well, what would I tell you if I said that we had an actual design drawing of one of these things, of one of these alien reproduction vehicles that Bob Lazar was kind of working on or working towards, I would say. So there's this interesting story of a man named Mark McCandlish. Hope I got that right. And the story goes that he was what is the official title? A contract illustrator, and he did illustrations for professional magazines. So we're talking about the aviation kind of magazines where you see actual diagrams of F-16s and different like this. So this guy's professional. This is what he does for a living. He works for magazines that sold all over the nation. And there's this interesting story of where he got to purview a aviation place he shouldn't have been. Have you heard about this one, Mike, at all?
Yeah, just barely. So I do know the name. I'm familiar with the name McCandlish, and I'm not exactly sure. I didn't get a chance to do the deep dive into this. I was doing some other things before we get prepared tonight. But this in particular, I'm looking at the logo, or sorry, the actual diagram for this, the ARV, the alien reproduction vehicle. So I'm familiar with the name. It kind of rings a bell, but I don't really know the story in depth. But so are you saying that he in some capacity was able to re-engineer these things, or is this like a terrestrial take on what a UFO might be? I'm not exactly sure what the context here is.
Great question. So no, he wasn't able to design anything. So it's an interesting story. So, if you look at kind of the UFOs that are out there, there's some common ones. There's the Tic Tac. There's the triangle UFO. If you guys know what I'm talking about, it's like this. It's almost kind of like if the military mixed a bomber and turned it into an alien vehicle. That's what you would see, the TR-3B. But if you go back in history, there's all these photos of all these weird UFOs. So you see like the traditional flying saucers, but then you see kind of like these kind of like, lack of a better word, kind of like ghetto ones. They're like not very good looking, right? They're like pretty simple in design. They look like they're made of metal. And so this guy got exposed to one of these things. So he was basically at a military aviation kind of conference with a general friend because he had connections. That's what he did. He drew this kind of stuff. And he's going through the conference, and he's enjoying all the new stuff that's out, and they're demoing it. They're doing flights in the sky and all this kind of stuff. And him and his general friend kind of get whisked away into a different part of this kind of aviation celebration or demonstration, and it's behind a curtain, all this stuff. And he got whisked in with his general friend, so that's kind of like how he got in. And I guess they overlooked his like clearance, but immediately when he walked in, he was like, shit. And the general, excuse my language, sorry. And the general leans to him and goes, don't say anything, because like the general can get in trouble. But there were 3 alien reproduction vehicles right in front of them. There was like a small, medium, and a large. And supposedly, these vehicles were the original alien reproduction vehicles called the Fluxliner. So this is like when I was saying earlier, this could potentially be like a moment in history. Like, when do we get to learn about this officially, is if this story is true. And what's interesting about these vehicles in the story is it corroborates a lot of what Bob Lazar has said in the past, and also corroborates with things that kind of have happened since. Okay. So yeah, the Fluxliner.
Okay, the Fluxliner. So it's not actually an alien craft. It's somewhere in between. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this is kind of new to me. But so we have we have this McCandlish fellow. We have the Tic Tacs and Fravor and the Nimitz incident. We have Tom DeLonge, Lou Elizondo. Now Lou comes out of the government, says that he worked as the head of ATIP, which was the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, is what that stands for. And so he is now. Now this is the best part about all this. Just as a quick digress here, is that Lou Elizondo, he's running the circuit doing interviews with everybody now. Have you seen this? This is amazing. So he's left TTSA, and now he's basically like, hey, look, I'm an open book, guys. And he's doing interviews with podcasts and stuff all over the place. I'm going to try and see if we can get him on the show here as well. And nice work, by the way, if you're out there listening to Jess Rogie on the having Avi Loeb on the show. That was amazing. I was trying to get prepped on this show, listening to that, going, oh my goodness, I just want to geek out and listen to Avi Loeb talk. but amazing, right? Like he's written a book, he's doing the rounds, but Lou Elizondo was doing the rounds like he's written a book, and he hasn't. So I mean, like, that to me says a lot about the character of the guy. And I was a doubter for a long time. I just thought that he was, a lot of the things he was doing were kind of not as. I don't know. I guess it was kind of just hidden behind the veil of the TTSA and that whole bit. So whatever, like that's a different thing with that organization entirely. But he's Lou Elizondo has changed my mind recently, because he's come out and he's talked about all these things, and he's been as open as possible as he can be with his government clearance and the rest of this. Have you heard some of the things he's been talking about recently?
No. Yeah, actually, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, check it out. He's doing interviews everywhere. He finally got on the Black Vault, which is fantastic. He was on another UFO podcast recently, and he's jumping around and kind of doing the circuit, like just like I said, like he's writing a book. Okay, so anyway, so back to this. We got this alien reproduction vehicle, this McCandlish fellow. We've got Bob Lazar, and we've got the Element 115, and the rest of these things. Again, right? Not a scientist here. If anybody's a scientist and we want your take on this, I'd love to hear if Bob Lazar is a what would you call him? Whatever you want to call him. I'm not gonna call him. You call him. 702-957-1037. Talking about this. I'd love to include you. You can join the Discord as well. Troubledminds.org is the official website. It has the phone number right on top and the Discord right on top. You can also come join the conversation at fringe.fm/chat. Come join us there as well. Pretty good stuff. Okay, so all right, let's get back to Bob Lazar then, and some of the things that again, right? There are lots of things that kind of weave in and out of the Bob Lazar story, and oddly enough, going back to these old clips, which I think is important from time to time to kind of look back into the past, like it's literally a time machine. because you get to come and see if hindsight really is that 20/20, right? Based on the things he said, based on the claims he's made, and based on the things we now know and that the government has admitted to. So good stuff here. Let's go ahead.
Well, so before we move off the flux line, there were a few like corroborations I wanted to kind of point out with the Bob Lazar story real quick. If we got time.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, so I guess the first thing is that he wrote for, he did these designs, so he committed as much as he could to memory, and he went home and he professionally redid them. So that's kind of like where these pictures come from. And he had mentioned that there was a cylindrical engine in the middle, and that's where the engine is, and it's very similar to what was described in abduction stories. That the navigation mechanic, like if you look at the Fluxliner picture, there's like a little ball, and apparently it's like a cup underneath a ball, and that's kind of how you direct the propulsion. It's kind of almost a very alien-like navigation system, and that this thing did have 3 generators that were kind of pointed and basically moved around this these plates at the bottom. So this is as much information as he could gather, but it's very similar to Bob Lazar's. It corroborates basically with this information, even to the point where there's this ball made of iron to keep the users away from the propulsion, because apparently there was some sort of something that could hurt them, so they were like trapped, encased in this ball of iron. And what's interesting is they could not see outside of it because it had to be sealed. It's got like a freaking solid door you would see on a submarine, and they had to use cameras to look on the outside, and these cameras and these designs were actually classified at the time, and then later on you could look these cameras up and you'd be like, oh, that's exactly what they were. So a little piece of kind of like a little Bob Lazar thing, something that was corroborated later. So anyway, this really related to that story is super interesting. And there was like little demonstration things about the propulsion, how these things worked, how they hovered. They could hover off the ground, but then suddenly take off into the atmosphere. It's kind of all like kind of painting this picture, right? And yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, good stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna dig into this one a little bit deeper, and we'll have to revisit this and kind of go in depth with the alien reproduction vehicle and some of these things. But again, when you're looking at the government, right? This is the biggest part. This is the biggest, in my opinion, the hardest part of the problem is we're dealing with a government that's just dishonest. I mean, it's very clear to anybody who's looked into the ufology and UFOs and the rest of these things, and kind of went back to Project Blue Book and even back to Roswell and some of these things. It's very obvious that they've been covering things up for quite a while now. So, given that, I'm at a loss. Unfortunately, I don't know what to think.
Do you want to do the White House press secretary?
Oh yeah. Speaking of disinformation, let's play that. I got a clip here. So everybody knows that. Now here's the weird part, right? Here's the weird part. Oh, we got a call coming in too. We'll take that in a sec. Okay, but here's the weird part. Now, speaking of disinformation, that's a good call on the press secretary. So everybody knows that the Space Force is a thing now, okay? We talked about this with Avi Loeb, not indirectly we did, not like directly like Jess Rogie did. I'm jealous as hell. We got to get Avi Loeb on the show. But here's the thing, right? So we covered Oumuamua like crazy, like it was some sort of light sail or these other hypotheses, right? But with that and Space Force, it happened around the same time. And so we were speculating when it happened that it's possible that Space Force was actually created as maybe at the time the president, I'm not going to say his name because people freak out, but the president at the time maybe got a briefing that this Oumuamua thing was an interstellar craft of some sort. And so maybe it spawned the creation of this Space Force. But anyway, so we're just setting this up. Let's play this clip. This was today, I believe. So the press secretary, speaking of Space Force, was asked a question. Let's play this clip real quick. And speaking of government and the opacity or lack thereof, transparency, I mean, this is a question that was asked today of the press secretary. I can't remember her name. You know, the redhead, getting tons of press. Action.
They asked whether the president has made a decision on keeping the scope of Space Force.
Wow, Space Force. It's the plane of today. It is an interesting question. I am happy to check with our Space Force point of contact. I'm not sure who that is. I will find out and see if we have any update on that.
Okay, I'm going to play that one more time. And I want you to imagine her face as she says this. All right? Now, just listen to her tone, how she answers this dude, right? And again, it's it's like as you can imagine, it's the White House press conference thing that, she's out there answering questions, and there's, the stick in the mud reporters that are all, either for her or against her, and that's really the way this all works. But clearly she gets a question from an individual she doesn't think highly of, and listen to this response. Space Force, in particular, one more time, action.
They asked whether the president has made a decision on keeping the scope of Space Force.
Wow, Space Force. It's the plane of today. It is an interesting question. I am happy to check with our Space Force point of contact. I'm not sure who that is. I will find out and see if we have any update on that.
Whoa, Space Force, the plane of today. Speaking of government disinformation,
what does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I think the words she was saying do not mean what she thought they mean. I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, crazy, right? Like, thank you for pointing that out. I would have skipped over that. But yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example of the information we get from the government, right? And not only that, this is a great quote real quick from Marge in the chat says, she doesn't even know who the White House contact person is with the Space Force. Just FYI. Go ahead, Ash. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's funny. As Space Force was being made, a Netflix show came out that was basically mocking it. Do you know what I'm talking about with the Steve Carell?
Yeah. So it was kind of a year later-ish, but yeah, totally. They mocked the hell out of it.
Yeah. So I haven't watched it, but what they love to do with this subject is they love to release real information and then slather it in shame and mocking, right? To kind of downplay it. So it's like a whole new branch of the government, Space Force, but we don't want you to ask any questions. It's just a joke, guys. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, a third of our budget goes to the military, but don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing to see here. Space Force. Next question. All right, let's go this phone call. Keep on trucking. We're talking about reverse engineering alien spacecraft, guys. Talking about the Bob Lazar story 31 years later and looking at some of the clips in the past and maybe some of the information that corroborates all of that today. Let's go to this phone call. We're taking your calls, 702-957-1037. Going to put it up on the stream. Streaming on Facebook, streaming on YouTube. We're broadcasting on the Fringe FM. And we are going to Kelly in Colorado. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on there, fellas?
Kicking it, talking UFOs, man. Doing what we do. What's on your mind tonight?
Nothing. I was just wanting to ask, hey, the designs of that anti-gravity craft that you guys are showing. What year was that? That was that model?
I'm not sure. Can you hear him, Ash? What year was that?
Yeah, good question. So I believe. So the demonstration happened much later. These were old by then, but I think it was the 60s. The 60s, they had something like this.
60s.
Because the reason why I'm asking is because that design that you're showing, the exact, the breakaway model of it, but, how it's made and the tanks and everything. Well, there's a guy, I don't know if you guys know, his name is Otis T. Carr. He was back in the 50s, and he broke, in the early 50s, he kind of hit the scene with some anti-gravity vehicles that he reproduced. And there's many rumors that he was actually a protege of Tesla, Nikola Tesla.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that. And you're saying it looks like a similar craft?
Oh, it almost looks exactly like it, his design and model. But he also had a different couple other models that he had. But that one especially would kind of look like I call it looks like a birthday cake kind of shape. It's got like, the two different levels of it. But also there's another one back in the 50s. He was actually working with the government, and his name was T. Townsend Brown. He successfully tested like small scale anti-gravity systems. And then there was back in the 1996, there was a hacker. His name was Matthew Benson. He found documents detaining a disc-shaped anti-gravity vehicle, which was more like Townsend. Townsend Brown's, his vehicle was more, there's actually photos of him showing his small models. The models were probably like, I would say they were maybe about 2 feet, maybe 2.5 feet in diameter, but they were the small, skinnier shaped disc shapes. And Otis T. Carr and the one that you're showing there they were more like that shape, you know what I mean? Kind of like I said, kind of looks like a birthday cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've actually got one up on the stream right now that's shaped exactly like you're describing. Go ahead, Ash. Sorry.
Yeah, and if you pull up, if you got Otis T. Carr real quick, it'd probably show some of his designs of what his vehicles were.
Go ahead, Ash. We got to take a break, guys. Just 1 minute left, just so you know. Go ahead, Ash.
Okay. I actually haven't heard of Otis T. Carr. I think we'll come back and kind of what we can do is we could cross-reference all these UFOs throughout history and try to pin them, like where they, okay, this was this was that. Because I know different branches of the military and stuff have competing programs and they hide secrets from each other. So it wouldn't be a surprise that there's all these different ones, especially with Project Paperclip and the Germans coming over, right? That probably have their own sect and all kinds of stuff. Good stuff, man. I'll have to take a look.
Yeah, Kelly, I appreciate the call, my man. Final thought real quick. We got to take a quick break.
No, man. I just want to add a little bit of thing about that, just because I seen that vehicle that you guys were showing. So, yeah, just wanted to add something to it.
I appreciate the call. Kelly from Colorado, old friend of the show. The very first caller we ever had. Thank you, my man. Stay safe.
You guys take it easy.
Thanks a lot, man. You too. Have a great night. All right, so we're talking about UFOs tonight. We're talking about reverse engineering and whether this stuff is real. Is Bob Lazar a real thing, or is this all disinformation, hogwash? You tell me. I don't know. I'm the questions guy, not the answers guy. Thank you again, Kelly, for the call. You're listening to Troubled Minds, 702-957-1037. One more time, that's 702-957-1037. I'm Michael Strange. I'm here with Ash, the reptilian from Mars. We're talking reverse engineering UFOs. Hang tight. We will be right back.
The truth is out there, and so are we. KTLK, Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'm here with your co-host, Ash, the reptilian from Mars. We're talking UFOs tonight. We are talking about reverse engineering. Crashed UFOs. The question for you is this a real thing? Do you believe it? Disinformation? Something else entirely? We're not trying to make you believe this or that or the other thing. But what we do want to know is what you think. 702-957-1037. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're live on the Fringe FM. TroubledMinds.org is the official website. Got a couple calls coming in. We'll take these and let's keep on trucking. Let's kill this annoying music. Synthesizers. Oh yeah, the synthesizers. That's for you, Penny. Synthesizers are for you, Penny. All right. What's up, Ash? Welcome back. We got a couple calls. We got somebody in Discord. We got somebody on the line. What do you think? What do you think so far? I know that you and I, we talk about this stuff all the time, right? This is old hat for us, but I don't think the conversation ever gets stale. I think there's so many things that kind of come out from, the New York Times puts something out, you get Lou Elizondo says this, UFO Joe tweets that, there's all kinds of things coming out every day. And I think this is one of those conversations that's basically evergreen, eh?
Yeah. And if any of this stuff is true, it means that there's kind of a meta of what is real and known as a human civilization, right? If at some degrees, some of this is real, right? At least some of it. So, as the public, we're behind. Like, they say, they keep saying that, our government has gotten to a point where maybe it's a breakaway civilization. Maybe the public, us, we're like, in our Kim Kardashian reality, we're so far behind from what's really out there. And I mean, for me personally, I just want to know, I'm like that side character in a movie who the tidal wave's coming and I'm like, no, I must know. And I go down and I find out the secret, but then the water washes me away. That's me. I have to know. It just bugs me. And I think it kind of bugs us all, and our government lies to us, and we just have to trust it's for our own good, right? And what part of this story is true? And I'm glad you guys are calling in. We want to hear what you guys have to say, right? And what you guys think.
Absolutely, let's do it. Let's go to this phone call. We're going to go with Jay first, and then Axel, you're up next. Hang tight. All right, Jay from New York, you're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. What's on your mind tonight, man? You got 2 minutes. Go.
You guys got a great show, man. It's awesome. Ash, you're right. Some of it's got to be real. Even if half of it's real, we're still in a serious line of BS. Because the monochrome girl put up the countdown clock until they have to disclose the rest of it. I mean, they're giving us little bits and pieces now with magic marker written all over it. The stuff is out there. Mm-hmm. They've been doing it. We're right here.
Yeah. So
we get to see it. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yay!
Right? Interesting time to be alive. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, thank God.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. One way or the other, it's coming.
We used to talk about it when we were kids, about them flying the planes up, because when you're out there camping and stuff when you're kids and you don't have telephones in your pocket, because that's what you do on the weekend, you go out in the woods and you camp and you see all the big planes fly over in the morning when you're making your eggs over the fire that's not hot enough to cook eggs. And you're like, wow, now it's cloudy the whole rest of the day. It's spraying that stuff. They fly in like a formation.
Do we just go to chemtrails, man?
Like, what are they hiding?
Just go to chemtrails. All right, hey.
Are we allowed to talk about that, or I got a tinfoil hat or something?
No, you're good. You're good.
But really, you do see them.
Hold on. You're in the right place.
You can talk about, hey, man, I got a tinfoil helmet.
No, you're in the right place for that. It's just a little bit off topic. Jay, final thought real quick. We're going to go to the call right behind you. What's up, man? Final thought.
I don't know, man. Try to keep a positive attitude. And laugh at the stuff that makes you want to cry.
You got it, buddy. You got it, buddy.
Censorship and all that, man. That's nuts.
You got it, buddy.
We're
going to keep talking about it. It's important. Mm-hmm. It's important to talk about it. It's important to think about. Jay, I appreciate the call.
I'm going to keep listening, and I'll go back later and YouTube you with a bunch of likes.
Okay.
My kid's phone and the tablets and everything.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Jack the ballot box for you, Mike.
I appreciate it. We're not allowed to talk about that.
Remember to get your dead uncle to
Whoa.
My little-
Wait. Cut him off. We're not talking about that. When we get taken down off the internet, we talk about that. All right.
Hey, man. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate your curiosity.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. Again, right. Literally, like I never thought years ago, couple 3 years back, I never in my wildest dreams thought, hey, you start a radio show on YouTube and you get people actually call you. You guys are amazing. I appreciate it a lot. All right, let's go to Axel on Discord. Let's see. Let's pull him in. Let's see. Is this working? There we go. All right, Axel, you are on Troubled Minds with Mike and Ash. How you doing, my man?
Hey, Mike.
Hello. What do you think about all this alien stuff?
Well, I'm glad to be on with an actual alien.
Thank you. Thank you. So am I.
You know what? If I can, before we get anything, if I can make a request,
sure.
I really would like to hear Ash talk about remote viewing in a more like full way at some point.
Okay, we can definitely do that. I'm sure Ash is down for that. That's his thing. He's probably remote viewing right now.
Yeah, you got like 25 hours.
I mean, I'm getting tons of reverb here. What's happening?
You're hearing yourself. Sorry about that. We'll have to fix that. It's a
okay. I'll just push through it.
Okay.
I was just saying that I looked up Bob Lazar, and I'm more forgiving of him now that I know that he's not a scientist, because his explanation about that engine that I caught made zero sense.
Okay, which many people have said, by the way. So
I'm not surprised. It's just like antimatter-matter reactions mostly produce high-energy gamma waves, and that's not how you would run like a generator that ran on heat energy. So many people have criticized him for his lack of science knowledge over the years, and I think this is why it's important to kind of circle back and look at some of the things he said in the past. Like I said, we're kind of in a time machine tonight, looking at what Bob Lazar said, 20 years ago. So that's good, because now we can see that as science progresses or whatever, not that science is 100% perfect all the time, et cetera, so on, but we do learn more things, and as we learn more things, right, we're able to apply them to what Bob Lazar said with all this ET element 115 exotic propulsion stuff. So I'm with you. Like I'm on the fence on this. I don't know. Like it seems like in many cases, in my opinion, he's fraudulent. But then it also seems like a lot of things happen, like that Tic Tac thing and the rest of this, that it's some things corroborate at least his UFO experiences and how he brought people out to the desert to see these things. So I don't know. I still don't know what to believe here. What do you think? I mean, with my just undergrad understanding of physics, if I was being generous, I would say that like you'd run a cyclotron to accelerate a particle to start like a fission chain reaction, like you do in nuclear reactors, like in a more controlled way. That would make sense to me. But antimatter-matter reactions, well, you just can't get antimatter out of positively charged stuff like normal matter. That's just not how it works.
Right. So again, right. So maybe we didn't even
I could explain if you had time, but you probably don't.
That's okay. Check it out. If you're gonna listen, we're gonna do a third hour on YouTube and Facebook. So if you want to come back at length, you're definitely welcome. Please explain that. I'd love to hear it.
All right. Well, okay. I can explain the matter-antimatter symmetry problem to people on the third hour.
Okay. Perfect. Hang tight. We'll get you back. We're gonna keep on moving here. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Axel. Hang tight. We'll get you in the third hour. All right, there we go. Again, you can be part of the show. This is the thing, right? Like I said, in my wildest dreams, I never imagined you do a radio show and you get people call you. Not only just people, right? Smart, informative, interested people. And here we are. If you want to be part of the show tonight, this is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike, here with Ash. That was Axel. Jay before him on the phone. You two can call us tonight. We're talking about UFOs. We're talking about the government and how they possibly have a reverse engineering program put forth by Bob Lazar in 1989. You think it's real? You think it's disinformation? Do you think the science is validated Bob Lazar, or do you think it has exposed him as something else? You tell me. I'd love to hear what you think. 702-957-1037. That's a Las Vegas area code. One more time,
957-1037. And you can join the Discord as well. Troubledminds.org is the official website. Phone number's there. Discord's there. Fringe.fm/chat. Join that Discord as well. Look, watching all the chats. Like I said, I got alien eyes in the back of my head. All right, Ash, let's finish this up, man. What do you think? So let's give a final type of in the next 10, 15 minutes. What does this mean? Like, I mean, for now and for the future. Do you believe Bob Lazar? How about that? Let's start with it. Let's start with that.
Well, so my IQ, the average IQ jumped up for a second while we had that caller, and then when he left, I just felt dumber after he left.
like you got punched in the proverbial face. Yeah.
No, but
Axel's a smart dude for sure.
The thing with these kind of things is like it's the same thing with the pandemic. The problem is that you can't discern it, right? You can't. None of us are. Well, I guess he is somewhat of an expert, right? But unless you have a degree or some sort of background knowledge, you can't like say like that's BS or not. So it starts to kind of leave your purview, and it becomes harder to validate, I guess, when it comes to science. It becomes medical mumbo jumbo at some point. You can get the gist of things, and it's like, oh, that sounds great, sure. But now I will say with Bob Lazar, from what I heard with his story is that they were like monkeys working on a reactor. So I believe that when he said those things about that, it was this hypothesis, but that would be kind of throwing him a bone, right? So we did just hear a clip where he kind of definitively said that's how it worked. But again, I think it was a theory because supposedly the last people who worked on the generator, they were cutting into it to see how it would work, and it exploded and killed all of them. So it didn't seem like they had a really good grasp of things at that point. Now, are we seeing that the government, how much, I guess the question is, that kind of annoys everyone. The triggering question is, how much does the government know? Right? How much do they freaking know? Are they making deals with like lizard people, reptilians like me? Like, do they have all these craft? Are they in space? Do they have bases on Mars? Like, a lot of this stuff sounds far-fetched, but we don't know. Honestly, we don't know. And these kind of images, that Fluxliner image, these stories are from like the 80s and the 60s, and it's been decades and decades of secrecy. And and like, so we have this story, this Bob Lazar story, and then it's been kind of like just breadcrumbs since, right? Just crumbs off the table. And for one reason or another, they're keeping it secret. You would think at some point they'd just like come out with some of it, right? Like, what the hell? Like, so I know the government would love to have this advantage technologically. Like, we're in a race against China. If we have this kind of stuff, then it's a huge advantage over them if they don't, right? So, and I get that, but at some point, it is kind of scary, right? Like, how if this technology does exist and people have it in secret, they're literally like becoming gods in comparison to just us normies. And you get these kind of stories, you get these whiffs, and it's just like, wow. And yeah, I don't know. We've been in secret so long, it's like you can't discern the truth anymore,
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say here, that's the Alex Jones breakaway civilization, right? Like that's that sort of thing. If this technology actually exists out there, and so okay, now think of it in terms of this. I know you guys have, many of you guys have. We're preaching to the choir here. We're not talking about this on Normie Radio. This is the Fringe FM, and we're streaming on YouTube and Facebook. This is not Normie Radio, right? Like, if you guys are here listening to this, in many cases you believe a lot of these things are true, and that's fine. But the terrifying part is this. If this is real and we have actual reverse engineered extraterrestrial craft, that means there are extraterrestrials out there. All right. And not just, microbes on Titan. We're talking about actual intelligent beings that are watching us in some capacity. Right. It changes the whole paradigm of the world. And so that in and of itself is the terrifying part. You start to think, right? Well, okay, if this is the case, and you believe the ancient astronaut theorists, right? Because they always say yes. The ancient astronaut theorists say yes. They've been here, and they've been watching. So what the heck is really going on, and who's in control of what? I think that's the most terrifying things as we continue to do this. We got one more. We're gonna throw this link up real fast about the TR3B. I'll share it in the chat here. But I mean that's the thing, right? Like you got to wonder. It changes the entire paradigm of what's happening with just the world we know, the world we live in. And like I said, like the one of the underlying major themes of this show is exactly that, right? We're supposed to believe somehow that everything is exactly as they tell us. And then we look to the sky and many of us have firsthand accounts of these weird things that we see. I've seen them like multiple UFOs in my life. I've seen them. And so, what they are, I can't tell you. I've seen them with my own damn eyes though. And even in some cases have witnesses. I'm like, hey, come look, you got to look at this. I'm not crazy. Because you have to always try and validate it, right? You always have to try and say, look, somebody else, please have a look at this because I'm not insane. What is that damn thing in the damn sky? What are we looking at here, right? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Things that, again,
what did you see, Mike?
I've seen multiple things. So the most crazy thing I've seen, it was out in the desert, actually, south of Boulder City in Las Vegas. And there were like these lights, let's say 6 or 8 of them, something like that. Like you can't count, right? Like your brain completely shuts down in a situation like that where you're seeing things that are just they're not normal. You know what I mean? It's more of like that fight or flight response that goes on in your brain, and you start to feel a little queasy. So I was south of Boulder City here, and out in Vegas, headed down toward. I was actually coming back from Laughlin, actually, and so many of you guys know that part of the desert. There's a whole lot of nothing between Henderson and Laughlin. It's nothing. It's like just desert, right? There's nothing out there. But I was coming back, and it was just about dusk, and I saw these lights, 6 or 8 of them, something like that, maybe 10. I don't know. You don't stop to think and count or any of that. You just stand there with your mouth open, like, what the heck am I seeing? And there was these lights, like they were orange, and they seemed to be, I don't know, for lack of a better term, like kind of dancing with each other in the sky. It's like they were interacting somehow together in this group, and kind of in this swirling motion. And like it's so like WTF that you stop the car and you get out and you look and you're like, what the hell am I seeing down here? And you see that, and your brain
and
is
those kind of
out.
things don't move with they don't move as if they're using air, right?
No,
They're
yeah,
just kinda
exactly.
floating around.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's almost like there's no gravity resistance to them. They're just being them out there. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And so it happened enough to me to stop and pull over and look. I didn't get a picture because I was slack-jawed for a minute, and then they disappeared. All of them just vanished at the same time. I was like, what the hell? Like, again, I had no witnesses that time. And it happened so quickly, right? Everybody's like, well, why didn't you get a photograph? Because your brain shuts down. Like, you're like, I'm telling you, if you're not set up for it and waiting for it and expecting it, I don't know. Maybe I was fooled. Maybe it was, people have suggested to me it's some drones or something like this. I don't know. But I do know what I saw, I've never seen before in my life, and I've never seen since. But oddly enough, I have seen some YouTube videos, all right, that kind of match it. And not only that, it was out here in the desert as well that somebody else posted something on YouTube. And I was like, I've seen those before. What they are, I can't tell you, but I do know I've seen them. And so it exists. This thing exists. And again, if it's some sort of disinformation campaign, fine. Like if I was fooled, fine. It's okay. I'm human and I understand I'm going to be fooled. However, once you see it, it changes your life,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a dream where I mentioned this to you on Discord, where I don't know, I was at a cookout or something, and I looked up at the night sky, and suddenly all the stars started moving, and it reminded me of that story of over Germany, or I think it was Germany, where there was supposed to be like a space battle, and I mean, it was so vivid. It was a really lucid dream. I don't usually have dreams like that where I'm like locked in. I'm like, holy crap, what's going on? And the whole sky was like moving and dancing with each other as if it was like engaged or fighting with each other. But it freaked me the hell out, and it just made me realize, like, if these things are real, like how little control, and how out of the loop, right? Like if something started going on up there, you wouldn't know. We're not prepared as a populace for anything. We're just kept in the dark for one reason or another. And we're supposed to just trust that it's a good reason. It's for our benefit. And no matter what the reason was, one way or another, they're going to spin it to be good. But if you study history, a lot of times things are done for selfish reasons, and then they put makeup on it, lipstick on a pig later, right? So it's just kind of crazy. It's crazy stuff. It's kind of scary. So, and I've had friends who've seen the TR-3B. That's the triangle craft.
Yeah.
And they were at the beach. One of these friends, it was a couple too. So it was like two people saw it. They both saw it with their eyes, and they were at the beach. It was nighttime, and they just happened to look up, and there it was. It was just like floating effortlessly above them, and then it kind of just like started smoothly going out over the water, and then it just freaking took off like a bullet, and it never made any noise, and it was pretty low. Like, for them to see it in the dark, it was pretty incredible. And you see images of it, you see videos. And what's interesting about it is you don't really see evidence of this kind of craft until a certain point on. And I knew at that point it was the government. Like, so whether it was based on aliens stuff, it doesn't matter. The government has these things. And if you notice, like, at some point they stopped telling us about their stuff. Really, like, remember the stealth bomber came out and it was like so cool and it was on all the magazines. And they just kind of stopped talking about things, like, as if they stopped, right? So who knows what they got back there. I mean, I'd love to fly one. It'd be kind of sick. That'd be amazing.
We gotta finish this up. Thanks again, Ash, for being on tonight. It means a lot. It helps. Great conversation. We're going to continue a third hour there on Facebook and YouTube. Everybody else, stay tuned for Joe Roop and Lighting the Void. You're listening to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. I'm here with Ash the Reptilian from Mars. Thanks for hanging out with us. I know there's a million things you could be doing right now, but you're listening to us, and we're honored. We're blessed. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the calls. Thanks for all the chat. Stay tuned. Lots of great stuff coming. It doesn't end, guys. The conversation continues. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From all troubled minds to yours, have a great night. See you tomorrow.
Goodbye, y'all.
This is Michael Strange from Troubled Minds. Did you hear that scientists recently discovered radio waves coming from Proxima Centauri? Well, I cannot confirm nor deny. We are broadcasting from that neck of the woods. You are listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM. All right, we're back. Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Ash. If Ash is back, if not, it's cool. We're talking about aliens and how these crash landings or whatever they are actually real or not. I think that's the question, right? And it's one of the largest questions that plagues the world, in my opinion, right? Like, there's a lot of things you can say. Oh, well, the CIA does some dirty stuff and they overthrow governments, and like all that stuff has been verified over the past. But I'm not so sure that aliens and this type of thing has actually been verified. I mean, like, I guess maybe it depends on your level of evidence and justification. But it's this is a big question, and I think as a result of that, I think there are big big answers and a big conversation. Let's see, looking at the chat here, making sure I'm caught up. Let's go to the chat actually, and let's catch up. Let's say hi to the folks that are showing up. Let's see. William says, I talk with people who saw UFOs, and most of the reaction is that they get a feeling of chills, excitement, and fear. And that's exactly it. Like you end up in a situation where you're not even sure. You're doubting yourself and your own senses. What's up, Kez from Ireland? I see you there. Thanks for showing up. Let's see. Let's go. Elizabeth says trails are real, and yeah, right. Trails are real. Tam says, they're talking amongst themselves here. Let's see. Kelly says, maybe that's why we have our brightest people on this reactor, because the physics we know say it's impossible. Humans are just scratching the surface. And I couldn't agree more. There's a lot here, right? Scientifically, it's way over my head. But who knows? Again, who knows? Kelly says, yes, Ash, it's a wood carving from Germany or an air battle and crashes of flying vehicles. And I've heard that stuff. Thanks with the Elizabeth with the heart. Thank you. The heart back. Back to you. Kelly says, pull up that Otis T car UFO just to compare vehicles. Okay. We'll pull that. If somebody can link that for me, pretty please. It's hard to do all the things at the same time. But if you Otis T car, if anybody wants to pull that up and link it, please, I'd appreciate that a lot. What's up, Tam Bam? What's a clear one? I'm fascinated. That's a good idea. What's up, Leslie? I see you there in chat. Thanks for showing up and joining us tonight. Talking about UFOs, talking about reverse engineering alien craft from actual what would you call them, government situations here. Definitely good stuff. Hippie for you says, I feel deprived because I never get to see UFOs. I'm telling you, when you see them, it like your mind freaks. Your mind freaks out. So be prepared, right? I think that's the thing. What's up, Tommy Boy says, in Irvine, California. Oh wait, hold on. Let's scroll up. Let's scroll up to the chat. Read in the chat, guys. All right, so if anybody wants to be part of the show, I want to put the phone number up. We're still talking about UFOs, Bob Lazar, reverse engineering UFOs, and the way this shakes out now. Has your mind changed about Bob Lazar? Do you believe him? Do you not believe him? And what do you think? Where are we at now with all this? Xavier, thanks for being here. Says 3 people, thumbs down. This, what the heck? Exactly right. Haters. That's all right. That's all right. It was that one dude that was mad because it was the thing. I don't know. It's hard for me to keep track. Actually, our thumbs down captain hasn't been here. I haven't seen Super Vike in a while. I'm not sure what's up with Super Vike, but thumbs down captain, he hasn't been here. So that's the joke. Let's see. Paul says, I don't think the UFO crafts that have been recovered are extraterrestrial. What if they are remnants of an ancient civilization? I think the crafts are too small for interstellar travel. I don't know, though, because if you're talking about the mass of an object and trying to move in like an advanced propulsion techniques, I think you have to end up being whatever mass is it inhibits you, right? Because the more mass, the more energy proportionally you have to have, and so the larger the thing, the more astronomical the amount of energy, as I understand it. So I don't quite think that that's maybe the case here. All right, we actually got you there, Ash? No, he's not there. All right, so we're gonna go. We got Tam actually. Tam is on the line. Tamrin from South Africa. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. I can hear you just fine. What's on your mind tonight? What do you think about the UFOs?
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Go right ahead.
Okay, great. Because there's like an echo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're trying to fix that. We'll have to do extensive testing to fix that.
And I'm really loud in my own ear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Power through it. Power through it. Ash, this is what Ash was dealing with the entire show, just FYI. Sorry.
That's hard.
Say something again. Let's see if I can fix this.
Okay. Hello.
Okay. I think we're good.
Testicles. 1, 2, 3.
Testicles. 1, 2, 3. You hearing yourself still or no?
Yes, I still do.
Okay. All right. Try it now. Say something.
Can you hear me?
Okay, but they can't hear you.
Oh no,
so,
they're right.
Yeah, they can't hear you. So you're gonna have to deal with it.
Okay, that's fine.
This is gonna cost me like an hour later, 2 hours to figure it all out. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry about that. Go right ahead.
Okay, so the one thing I don't understand is that we need to look at the Van Halen belt. Why is no one talking about the Van Halen belt? We can't cross that barrier. Am I wrong?
Well, I think because I think scientifically, I think it's possible. I think that's part of the problem here is that there's a lot of people that say no. So you're right. Like, it is one of the conspiracies that we didn't go to the moon because we can't cross the Van Allen belts and the radiation in space. I understand, but I'm not exactly sure that it's legitimate, the argument. I don't know. I think it's kind of like I don't know. Again, I don't know. Like, I don't have the answers, unfortunately. If I did, like I said, this would be the answer show. But yeah, that's a good question. It is a good question for sure.
You know who we should ask?
Who's that?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of astronomers and scientists, physicists, and astrophysicists that have come out and said that this is a particular thing that's a conquerable thing for people. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'll try and get some of that. Actually, I'll try and get some of that. If you're interested in that, we'll try and add the Van Allen belts to the future. I'll try and do that so we can look at the science on that and what some of the people have said. I don't buy it because the people that are not saying that, only scientists deserve a seat at the table, but I think that many of the people, like, you don't get prominent scientists that I know of coming out and saying, well, no, the Van Allen belt's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of get people like me. You know what I mean? Not that I don't mean to be demeaning about that, but like, scientifically, you usually have, if you have somebody that challenges it scientifically, then you have a problem, right? Kind of like the global warming and all that stuff. So you get scientists that say both things, but I'm not so sure. I've seen most of the scientists. I hate to use the term scientific consensus because it makes me want to punch myself in the face, but I think that from what I've seen, in my opinion, that it's a conquerable thing. So I will look into it in the future for you. How about that? We'll add it to a show in the near future.
Okay, cool.
I promise.
The reason why I ask is because we can't even get to the elephant's foot, that radiation blob. So how can we go and cross the Van Allen? So that's one of my theories or questions. And then we can't even get to the depths of the ocean, the deepest parts of the ocean.
Agreed.
So how can we go further into the space? Sorry, this echo is driving me mad.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But anyway.
Now you know what Ash has to deal with.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will get it fixed. So here's the thing, right? We had it all working perfectly, and then this radio thing happened, and so we had to reconfigure all the audio routings to this and that and the other thing so we could cut out the commercials. But then it screwed this again, so I've got another problem on my hands. But anyway, yeah. So that's a good point. But they're different problems. So the bottom of the ocean means you have like a super huge amount of pressure. Okay, and so as a result of that, as I understand it, that the problem is you're battling the pressure of the ocean. It's like, the gravity of all this weight of this water that's pressing down on this submarine or whatever it is, right? But space is different. You have no pressure whatsoever. It's the complete opposite thing. You have radiation to contend with. You have heat and cold to contend with, you see? So it is a good example of pushing the thought forward. I just don't think, like, they're two different problems. It's apples and oranges is kind of what I mean. But I understand what you're saying. So I promise you, in the near future, we will do the Van Allen belt and look at that and see what some of the notable scientists of the day and of the past have said about this, because I think it is an important thing to talk about, just to make sure that if it is real or not, we put it out there and talk about it.
Well, that thing, isn't it? We need to put it out there.
And as you know me, we will. We'll get there. I'll put it on the list, okay?
Okay. And then one more thing.
Sure.
So I love the point where we are in reality where, so 10 years ago or a bit more, everyone was thought I was insane because I was believing in aliens and UFOs things, and they called me stupid and ignorant, and now it's turned. You're stupid and you're ignorant. I love this point.
Yeah, I think I think we should just stop caring what people think. I mean, you know what I mean? In the end, it's just like it's unfortunate, but like people are life, but also people can be really cruel and mean and not understanding, and so it is what it is.
But now it's changed. changed.
And now it's well, maybe. I'm not so sure it's changing. Like, I think it's changing slowly. Maybe like the UFO thing, we're calling you like a weirdo or whatever, tinfoil hatter. Slowly, but for the most part, I don't think so. I think if you bring up UFOs to a random normal person, they're going to think you're nuts. I still think it exists.
They're still sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. They still have no idea. They're real for sure. What they are, I think that the question remains, and it's worth talking about. Clearly, why we do it. But yeah. What do you think? So do you think that the aliens are real? Do you think these UFOs and the government reverse engineering is all a real thing?
Are you asking me a rhetorical question?
I am. Just to throw it out there. Yeah, you don't have to answer or commit. You can do like I do.
Of course they're real.
You can dodge a lot of it like I do. It's okay.
I mean, we've got proof. We've got Ash.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. We actually have proof. One of these days I'm going to get a picture of him and you'll see. We'll be like, look, we got him. We got him.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to get it off because this echo is driving.
Okay, sorry about that. Thanks for
no worries.
I appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon, Tam. Have a great night, great day.
Bye.
Thank you. There you go. Simple as that, guys. You want to be on Discord? You have to deal with a little bit of echo talk back, and now you know. It's a good thing sometimes because it slows you down. It's a bad thing because you hear yourself back on like a 3/4 second delay in your own ears. It's not good. It's not good. Yeah. So anyway, let's see. What's up, Paul? Talking about looking at the chat. Looking at the chat. Looking at clear ones from Leslie. Clear ones. I don't know what the aliens are here. I'm not sure Ash is back yet. He's unmuted now. What's up, buddy? You there?
I'm here.
Welcome back, my friend. All right, so you missed a call from Tamron. She was looking for an explanation for the Van Allen belts. I thought maybe your expertise as a Martian could help us, but that's okay. We'll get to that next time. We'll get to that next time. How you doing, man?
Good. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
The goat got out, you know.
That's okay. It happens. That's why team works better, right? In case the goat gets out, you don't just have like dead air. You got somebody talking. So we're good. Okay. So
somebody's got to chase the goat.
All right. So let's get back to this. So I don't know what you want to talk about. Like I got clips on Homeboy here on more Bob Lazar, his lie detector test, his invisible craft. We played how the reactor worked. He's got S4 part 1 and part 2. He actually saw an alien. I mean, there's a ton of clips here that we can play. Or what do you want to do?
Well, let's see here. Let's listen to some more Bob Lazar.
Let's get the idea.
Official testimony on record.
Okay, let's go. This is a S4 where he was supposedly working for the U.S. government in Area 51, and not just that, into a particular secret part of it. So there's a thing called Homey Airport. You guys can search it on the internet. Homey Airport. Just like that. That's what the actual airport is named. That's Area 51, okay? It will take you to the maps, and you can go and you can zoom in and get as much as you can from the Google Maps. But it's not Homey Airport and the ones you see in the actual Google satellite type stuff. He said there's a secret part that's underground, and he calls it S4. Here's part 1, action.
How long were you employed at S4, and when were you hired?
When was I hired at S4? I guess early '89, and I was probably there only about 6 months or so, on a very infrequent basis.
How were you transported to and from work?
At the time that I was working there at McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas, there was a Special Projects EG&G building. When I was told to go to work, I drove there, parked my car there, and got in a plane at the airport, flew to Groom Lake, where I deplaned and waited for a bus, and the bus drove me down to S4. The S4 facility is an area just off the Papoose lake bed, dry lake bed. And it consists of 9 hangars. The hangars have sloped doors on them with a sand texture coating. Around the opposite end of the hangars, there's the standard entrance where you're dropped off at. You go through a security check, and inside there's a small complex. There's some office space, there's several laboratories, the hangars themselves, of course, and a few other places. I didn't have free reign to go wherever I wanted to. Everywhere I went to, I was essentially escorted. So that was really all about that I saw.
Okay, so there's S4, how he got there. Again, McCarran International Airport. We've talked about the Janet flights in the past and the rest of this stuff. So there's a lot, right? There's a lot to this guy's story, and a lot of it has been confirmed, including the Janet flights that go to Area 51 on a daily basis. I'm sure you've heard of that, right, Ash?
Oh, I didn't know they were confirmed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can go down there and you can look at them. Like, you can see them. And so Janet stands for, as they say, just another, what is it? Janet, just another non-existent terminal. That's what Janet stands for. And so you can go down there. And so this is the thing, right? This is the bizarre part. Down at McCarran Airport, you can go down and look. So if you're standing, oddly enough, on the Luxor side of Las Vegas Boulevard, okay, facing the airport. I live here, so I know this. You can go down there and you can see these planes. And many of the planes down there have markings, right? They have companies. It's going to be Southwest or this or that or JetBlue or whatever the other thing, right? But there's a particular set of planes, and they're called the Janet planes, and they have no markings whatsoever. And so, yeah, so it has been, I'm pretty sure, confirmed that that's a real thing. And so, again, going back to what he said way back when, he's kind of making a statement that, as far as I'm aware, has been corroborated at this point.
Look at you, Mike. You know all this stuff.
Stop. No. Well, I happen to live here. I mean, if you know. Speaking of which, when you're in town from Mars, why don't you stop by Las Vegas? We'll have a drink at the Luxor.
Yeah, once I get done with like a few abductees and going crazy.
Yeah, sounds good.
Eat a whole cow by myself.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Let's do it. Grumpy Granddad, what's up? I see you there on the chat. Leslie, thanks for showing up tonight. Let's see. Let's go back to the other chat here. Make sure we say hi and be social to everybody. John says, thanks, Tam. Yep, great call. Appreciate that. Also, thank you guys for clicking all the things. I asked for some things on Discord. We're testing out the YouTube algorithm. I think we may have an angle to beat that MFer. So, if that's the case, thanks for giving the actual thumbs ups and watching the video all the way through. Because if this works, the audience is about to get a whole lot bigger. So I'll keep you all posted. So I appreciate that. When I ask for help, you guys doing it and leaving comments and stuff, it helps a lot. So, okay. It helps a lot for testing. All right. So let's continue. Let's go to part 2, S4. So yeah, Janet, just another non-existent terminal, right? That's what that stands for. The Janet, and he talked about it way back when. So he was kind of the guy talking about it, and then it brought people out investigating this particular thing. And because of it, it came out as if you're going to fact check it, mostly true. Right? Like if this is a Politico fact check, it's mostly true, as far as I'm aware. What do you know, though? What do you know?
And also, it's like weird little details like that. He would have to be like, and these people exist. People who love attention and just, want to go on and elaborate lies. And, I've caught people in the past who've stolen other people's stories and sewn them into their own. And, eventually the truth catches up with you, right? You slip up, and from as far as I understand, he's not selling any books, or really, this story doesn't really benefit him. Now, I may be biased. I'm like Fox Mulder out here. I want to believe, guys. I want to believe, just like most of you do. I want to know, and I'm hoping that there's something of better than just the government was making crap up to cover up their projects, right? And I want to believe, but to make up a story like that, and then for 30 years later, almost all of it to kind of hold up, that's a rare thing.
Yeah, it is. And here we are again, right? Wondering about Janet flights. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Demeaning the conversation, but I mean, this is all evidence, right? This is all evidence. I think it's worth talking about, worth thinking about. All right, let's play part 2 of this, and then we'll keep on moving here.
Inside the facility, what was the basic layout? Were there underground levels?
I don't think there were any underground levels to it, though there could have been. I don't think it was an extensive underground facility. It just looked like an installation that was butt up against a mountain. And, I didn't see any evidence of any stairs going down, elevators, but like I said, I don't know. There could have been, and I just might not have been permitted in those areas. It's difficult to really surmise how long it had been operational. Everything did look fairly new. By that I mean I don't think this installation was there in the early 70s. Nothing was worn. Things looked fairly freshly painted. So, as a ballpark guess, I would say it would really surprise me if the installation was older than 5, 7, 10 years, something like that.
It's a scientist killed in the project. What exactly happened there?
Allegedly, obviously, I didn't see this, and I don't know it to be fact, but this is what I was told, that I was hired to replace one of a couple people that were killed while working on one of the reactors from one of the crafts. Apparently, they, for whatever reason, cut open an operating reactor, and the device exploded, killing both of them. The scientists that were killed there, allegedly the detonation from the explosion was fairly large. It would have rivaled a small tactical nuke. So it was done at the Nevada test site, and it was to be passed off as an unannounced nuclear test.
Did you have any direct contact or communication with aliens?
No, not at all.
Okay, no direct contact, but he says that there was just like Ash was talking about earlier, that there's a situation that happened where there was an explosion and it killed some scientists working on these reactors, these alien reactors, right? So I don't know. I think that's the problem here, is that why if these things happen, right? It is what it is. That's why we're talking about it. Do you think it's real? Again, we're taking your calls tonight. What do you guys think? Do you think the government is in possession of crashed UFOs? And if they are, do you think that they're reverse engineering them? And how does this tie into the Tic Tac and the Nimitz and all the rest of this, the Tom DeLonge stuff and the Lou Elizondo and all these bizarro craft? Or do you think this is a bunch of disinformation? I'm open to all the things, all the ideas, and I think it's worth talking about, or we wouldn't be talking about it. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord. TroubledMinds.org is the official website, and you can come say hi. Say hi to me. Say hi to Ash and whoever else might be listening. Hi, Ash.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Troubled Minds. Yeah, so I don't know. What do you think, man? What do you think? All the rest of this, that there's the corroboration of what you said earlier. That right in his own words, he said that there was a scientist that died in some sort of reactor explosion, and he said it was like a small grade tactical nuke. That's how much energy was actually in this this thing. Craziness, eh?
Yeah, and for them to go to those lengths, if that story is true, they must have been really freaking desperate. It must have been super monkey reactor in the woods kind of thing. Because, from what I understand, everything's wireless. This is what he describes later. There's no wires. They just didn't really have any idea how anything worked. So I believe they were becoming desperate. They kind of wanted to see it in action or whatever. But man, imagine going to work and being like, oh, so the last guy get fired? Well, no, he blew up in a small tactical nuke.
Small tactical
situation.
It was of extraterrestrial origin. I mean, it's not funny, right? Because people are dying. But I mean, like that explanation is funny. We got somebody in the caller queue. We'll take in a sec. So I don't know. That sounds crazy, though, doesn't it? That sounds crazy.
It's pretty nuts. I mean, reality is stranger than fiction, right? So if these things are true, it's like, what other crazy stuff? There's supposedly a story this guy says where he tried to fly one of these alien vehicles, and you have to use like your mind, telepathy. And he ended up crashing the thing so hard that he was like messed up, and he could like never fly again. And supposedly he was cleared to come out with this story. It's a really interesting story where he was trying to fly the machine, and to him, he just went up. Okay, so this was a test pilot for like this kind of program, and they were trying to figure out how to fly these things. And Bob Lazar talks about how they would have flights every week. They would do very minimal things. And this guy was trying to fly one, and he like went up and he was flying, and then he started panicking, and he got in this. It uses your mind, right? So he started like losing his concentration, and you're falling. Now you're panicking even more, and then supposedly it disappeared for a second, and then it was like gone, and everyone was like, okay. Everyone left, went inside, and then later on that night, it crashed into the ground. It must have like skipped through time. So I don't know if that story's true at all, right? But that's the kind of stuff I want to hear if it was true, right? That's kind of it's that meat and potatoes. Right
I
there.
want to believe.
So.
Exactly. All right, let's go to this call. I think we have a first time. I think. What's up? Often Frozen. You're on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Mike and Ash?
What's up? You're the first time caller.
Long time, dude. Yeah, long time listener.
Nice. We get the radio jargon. Long time listener, first time caller. You're very active in the chat and in the Discord and everything else. I appreciate that a lot. What's on your mind tonight, my man?
I was calling to give my opinion on Bob Lazar.
Okay.
It's really bothering that echo that's happening.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You got to power through it.
Yeah, I do that. I do it all night.
Yeah, see.
Oh yeah, and I hear you twice.
Yeah, even better. Go ahead.
Okay, so Bob, according to me, he actually worked there, but some of the stuff he's been saying since it was just bullshit given to him. Basically, I think he would have been a mistake for them. Even if he didn't actually come out and become a whistleblower. Because my theory is they just hired a hotshot that kind of learned stuff, but maybe skipped a few steps, and that's why they hired him, to get someone that would thought out of the box and created maybe a new dynamic in a team that wasn't getting anywhere.
Okay, so you think it's some sort of disinformation agent, eh?
Well, I don't think he is, but I think when they hired him, they must have not trusted him enough to give him the real story.
I see. So he's compartmentalized in some capacity. He knows just enough, and then he's kind of set loose into the wild, and so they're using him. Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, because I mean, he went on Rogan when he went there. He was talking about the documents he read at first to be read into the program. I mean, that's not how military compartmentalized programs actually work. They wouldn't actually read him in like that. They'd give him a minimum and put him to work. So my theory is that the whole documentation that way is maybe something that they would have made custom for every employee, so that if ever they do speak, they know exactly who spoke.
Definitely. Yeah, I've heard that in the past where they have compartmentalized stories in different departments, different things, but it's all, some of it's true, right? Some of the things that Bob is saying is probably true, but not all of it, right? And so when these facts and these details get out, they can trace back to where the leak is and go and button it up. That's a good point.
And I mean, his story never changed over the years. And he's never really put any bells and whistles onto it. He's always really careful to kind of differentiate what he was told, what he inferred, or, what he actually saw.
Right. And they could have came to him after the fact, before he spilled his beans, and negotiated with him, say, okay, this is your story now, at any point. Or, you've leaked all these beans, but now we want you to make sure you say this, right? So, he said it himself. He would do anything to get back into the program. back in the loop.
And I mean, personally, I have no idea about the origins of the craft, but I have no doubt in my mind that real nuts and bolts craft have been in existence for a long time.
Yeah,
at least since the 30s or 40s.
Yeah, I think it's weird, right? So like you can even go back to, I think is it Kecksburg, one of those ones that's like 1898 or something like this. You know, like there have been reports of this in newspapers, verified for a long ass time. So we're here thinking about this, and like we're forgetting a huge chunk of history. But I mean, 1947 Roswell, etc. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I actually have proof in a sense. When I was young, on a family vacation, I was in Germany. My dad, being a big aviation buff, he brought us into an aviation museum, and there was all kinds of planes there. But what really got my eye was an actual nuts and bolts flying saucer from the Second World War that was hung there at the ceiling. Full life-size craft with dust and the old Luftwaffe symbols and the whole shebang.
Really?
I must have been 9 years old.
Wow.
That's what got me on this whole lifelong obsession of UFOs and this whole technology associated.
Because
honestly, what I actually saw was not impressive. It was something with turbines underneath, like a big version of a quadcopter. I could buy $20 a day.
Right, like big rivets in the steel. It didn't look alien at all.
Yeah,
right?
big rivets in the steel. And doing research over the years, I discovered it was the Honeybau tube. It's one of the multiple models that they actually made. And they just never made enough because they were running out of time to win the war. And I mean, even that, I mean, the winner writes history. So who knows?
That's a fact. And that's a fact. Exactly. Right. So again,
Right.
we talk about that often on the show, you know. Go ahead, Ash. Sorry.
No, I mean, I was saying that before, like, you know, it's like, what is history? It's just like whatever who is in control writes down, you know. A lot of times terrorists and rebels are the same thing. Just depends on who won. And that's it with history. Like, who knows? Good point.
And here we are. Here we are.
Sorry, I've been rambling on. I could go on for hours about this subject.
You're good. Could you do me a really big favor? Can you please?
Yep.
Please hop in more often, man. We need to hear from the more people, the merrier. And you've been contributing in the chat for a very long time with really smart stuff. I appreciate your input. Please jump on voice more often.
No problem, man.
I appreciate that.
Honestly, I've been hooked on your content. You've been my DJ of choice. And honestly, ever since your first coverage on stuff like COVID, way back before everyone was talking about it,
I got a witness.
You got me hooked.
I got a witness. I got somebody who actually heard me talking about COVID and how this shit was going to go down before it went down. Dude, thank you.
Dude. I was telling everyone at the office months before, and they were all looking at me with a raised eyebrow, and I was telling them, this shit is coming here.
Yep. Hey, we were all stocked up, remember?
We were.
We got all our stuff.
Yeah, you were sharing videos of people welding doors on buildings and shit like that.
Yeah, it was happening too. It probably still is. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and nobody wanted to talk about it. The press wouldn't touch it. But come on, remember they were impeaching the president, and a year later they're impeaching the president again.
And slowly it's coming out at the exact same time you were talking about it. The Canadian government was getting briefed about the whole thing.
Yeah. And so I think that gives literally the thing that bothers me the most about that is that if you think in terms of government briefings, and like these guys are getting the same things we are talking about. I promise you, I have no insiders. I don't get information from anywhere but the internet. All right, nobody tells me. No, like like I look at the things. I say, look at the news reports from the South China Morning Post, and they're reporting on China, and nobody's talking about. The mainstream is ignoring it, and I'm like, oh shit, we got some problems there. You heard it. I'm just telling you. And I maintain this is the truth in my heart of hearts. If you pay close enough attention to the propaganda, you can see what's actually happening. Go back and look. We're on record, man.
I'm honestly starting to believe that this whole Freemason story of putting it out there to dissolve yourself of the bad karma is actually a thing, because everything's out there. And it's always been.
I think so. I think you're right. I think in some capacity, right? There's the karmic structure of the universe is a thing. And I believe it, and I hope it's true, because we're, in my opinion, we're doing the best to actually get the truth out there. The truth, and again, right, as the questions guy, think about it. You can ask the right questions and get closer to the truth than some asshole just trying to tell you the answers. You see? I know you see. I know you listen, man. You're here every damn time we do this. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much for being on tonight. Sure. Thank you so much for all the chat. Thank you for being there all the time. I appreciate it. Please, I'm going to ask you a double pretty please. Come back more often on voice. I appreciate it a lot.
Fix the echo and I'll be a regular.
You got it, buddy. You got it. That's next. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Often
Same.
Frozen. Often. You guys are the best. Often Frozen. I appreciate it.
You guys.
Moving you out. Thank you. We're going to keep on trucking.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for the call. Yeah, look, right? Exactly. Look at that.
Great call, man. Great call.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. It's the radio jargon, and it's fantastic. And, yeah, right?
Hey, man. I used to just be a lurker, too, man. I used to just lurk and listen.
That's true.
I'd be like, this guy's talking about that stuff.
The other thing, and this and that and the other. Yeah.
No one else is talking about this stuff. Not really, right? And, yeah, it's about asking the questions and that provoking so that, just people like me, just like him, we hear these questions and we're like, yes, those are questions we've had too. They're not crazy. They're not stupid. Those are good questions.
Good question.
And, the media just wants you to talk about X, Y, and Z and, like F that stuff.
No,
let's talk about
waste of our time.
UFOs.
Exactly. Let's talk about the bigger things in the world. All right, so I got some clips that can play. We got 20 minutes or so. You want to? You got anything you want to talk about in particular, Ash? Let's do the open Ash mic situation. What's going on, my man?
Yeah. So I'm feeling kind of good. It was a little gloomy today. Oh, not like that, huh?
If you want, sure. If you want, we'll lose listeners, but sure. Go ahead.
Like
my friend.
Therapy on live on air.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, this one time my reptilian father said to me when I was, an egg.
Exactly. And so I busted out, I slit his throat and threw him in the furnace of Mars.
Yeah, and I ate him.
I ate him.
Just like he did to his stepfather before him.
Exactly. I am your father, Ash. Yeah, no. So
is it going to be weird if, like when people look into the alien stuff, they're hoping it's going to be all like good and nice and stuff, and then you start like hearing about lizard people and reptilians, and like I was like, man, I hope that's not the real stuff, but I think they are, man. I think there's like lizard dudes. They're probably scary looking.
Yeah, they're probably
like a visceral reaction to their like. Just their look. They could be like the nicest things too. They could be like, but like you got crocodile face. I don't know.
Dude, Kelly called in. He told us he saw them with his own eyes. He said he saw reptilians in the military.
Damn.
Yeah.
Bro, don't be exposing him like that.
Nah, I didn't say his last name. I didn't say his last name.
Oh, okay. He's good.
He's good.
Dang. No, I mean, there's been stories where people. We're tangenting to reptilians, but it's cool. It's whatever. But the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins He said on Howard Stern that he
did. Go ahead.
Someone turned around. He was hanging out with them, and they turned around, and they're like, weren't human anymore. That's what he said. But if you like fill in the gaps, he was sleeping with this person.
Right. Exactly. He was having a.
And they turned around, and it was probably reptilian.
Did not have sexual relations with that alien.
I think there's a lot of people who'd be willing to do that.
Probably. I was actually talking to Monochrome last night on Discord, and I made the joke that Katy Perry said she'd sleep with an alien, so maybe I have a chance.
It was speaking of that, celebrities are talking more about UFOs and aliens and stuff. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Demi Lovato, I talked about on the news show yesterday. Post Malone. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
People are getting into that what you call it? The Greer thing. What's it called? CS4? Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, that stuff.
What do you think about that?
I don't have an opinion on that.
You don't? Okay. Well, you know what it is, right? Can you explain what it is?
Yeah, it's basically a protocol for making communications with aliens, which, on its own would have some merit with me. But so supposedly he's taking people out in the woods, and they've done these exercises, and they've communicated, and they have footage, and I've gone through a lot of it, and it looks pretty interesting. But this is the part that like screws it. Okay, if you're like trying to like progress humanity or do whatever, and you're providing a service, don't charge thousands of freakings of dollars to go, to do it. And so he's making a killing doing this stuff. So I mean, you could just have some silent drones go out in the woods and flash some lights at them and do some prayers, and there you go. There's $10,000, $15,000.
Yeah, and I think that. So if you guys haven't been paying attention, Stephen Greer in particular, like I don't know what you like. Me personally, I'm a little suspicious of the guy because I'll tell you why. He's telling everybody you can have some sort of meditation, ritual, incantation sort of situation, and you can bring UFOs to you. All right. Now, if that doesn't sound like, old school Solomon fire and brimstone, I don't know what does. Right. So summoning demons or something. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that drives me nuts about it. If this is the case and this dude can conjure UFOs at will, why don't we just set up 1,000 cameras? Okay, you guys watched an NFL football game? They have cameras like zipping over the damn field in real time, left and right, up and down, the other way around. So we have this technology now. If this MFer can summon UFOs, why don't we just put up a bunch of cameras and prove it? And not only that, if he can do it once, he can do it twice. If he can do it twice, he can do it 3 times. Where's the footage? I want to see it. It makes me suspicious. It makes me suspicious.
I mean, he does have some footage, but I don't know. It's nothing like the Navy UFO videos, but he does have. There's things that are going in the sky. He flicks lights at them, and they flick back. And
all right, so there is something happening here. There is something happening.
Well, maybe you don't know with video could be doctored so hard now, so that you can't even trust your own freaking eyes these days.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Like that's what I mean. So I want to see. Like honestly, though, now this is the thing. Bailey Monochrome. If you guys know who Bailey is, Monochrome has suggested this, and this is terrifying to me. We've talked about the Archons on this show, and the Archons are a negative entity, like an extra or actually intradimensional entity that feeds on the negativity of humanity. And they're trying to make us hate each other and kill each other, and they feed on that negativity. Now, the thing that's bizarre, ritual-wise, is maybe Greer has found a way to tap into this Archon situation and bring these trickster spirits, or whatever you might want to call them, right? Because when you get into the woo world, the woo-woo, W-O-O, you start thinking and talking about what's the difference between a UFO and a ghost, right? Because we get these orbs and the things, and like the Zach Baggins says the orb is a ghost, right? But then the orb shows up for Stephen Greer, he says it's a UFO. You see what I mean? Like there's a connection here to this, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they like to call it the phenomenon, right? Because there's a lot of these things kind of fall under the same umbrella. Where does one thing end and where another begins? So someone requested a remote viewing thing. I'll change it just real quick. The remote viewing group, they remote viewed reptilians on this planet, right? And they found that there's like a large sect of them that lives underground, and that there's like a caste system of like different kinds, and they all freaking look like demons. Like the way to describe them, what they do, they torture people for fun, whether that's feeding off literal energy like an ethereal creature, or just physically, just, you know, a lizard torturing a rabbit or whatever. But you could change the language: aliens, demons, hell, underground, right? It's kind of like all the same language for different things. So it's curious. It's like, were things more open in the past? Because like, if these things were happening at the what seems like the rate they were previously, we would catch more of it on camera. So has the phenomenon changed its behavior? Are we all just crazy, or is this just leftover lizard brain of being scared of what bumps in the night, right? Like, I don't know, but it is funny how it's kind of like the same stuff with different masks. You know, DMT, you get high on DMT, you see stuff in your dreams. It just seems to be more the reality than humans understand currently.
Yeah, and it's, again, big questions, right? I think that's the problem, right? And that's why again, just think about it. Like in your normal life, like how many times are you talking about big questions to random people? You know, like they shut down. Like people don't want to talk about these things. Like you have to have like moved past a portion of your life where you want to actually like have these discussions, you know, like I've been at house parties with family and, you know, extended family and friends and stuff, and I'm the weirdo talking about, you know, gravitational lensing, and they're all eyeballing me all weird and shit, and they're like, "You seen any good movies?" I'm like, "Yeah, this one with the reptilians run the fucking government." And they just roll their eyes and they run. They all run. They're like, and you know, I know they're whispering and shit. They're like,
yeah,
this MFer's crazy. This MFer's crazy. Yeah, we got a call. We got a guy from the Fringe Discord that wants to come in here. Hold on, let me. I'm going to send him an invite to our Discord. We'll get him on real quick, and he wants to be on the show. He wants to talk about aliens and the rest of this stuff. So there we go. There we go. So,
well, but Mike, you're not alone, man.
No, right? Like, are you that guy? Are you the weirdo at the party?
I used to be. I've literally tanked my social status in certain circles, just going crazy. Some people are like, "Oh, let's talk about aliens," and then like an hour and a half later, I'm like, "Oh, no one wants to be my friend anymore." So I know what you mean. Yeah. You got to hedge your words, right? Like you got to hedge your thoughts. And that's the problem, right? Because these are literally the bigger questions in humanity. I mean, literally the bigger questions. Because if you think about it, like who gives a shit about the left and right politics? Who gives a shit? Like it's a joke. Right. It's literally like a controlled joke. Like they control the conversation, they feed you the talking points, and they let you guys fight each other. Why? Like what a waste of time. Like go outside and look at the damn sky. You see how small and insignificant McConnell and Nancy Pelosi end up in regards to the universe around us. I mean, holy shit! Like what a waste of time. What an unbelievable waste of time. It's just awful. It's just awful. Let's go to freaking Saturn, man. Yeah. Screw this shit. Yeah, agreed. So read some chat here as we get Rohan's in the chat here. We'll bring him in a sec. So Leslie says, Michael Strange, I have personal experience with the Archons. They are inversions of positive polarity consciousness. Now, there are 7 types of this inversion consciousness from multi-control of many forms. Right? That's what I'm saying. Let me ask you, Leslie, can you tell me in the chat? I'll read it on the thing here.
Can you tell me? Actually, you're calling. I think you're calling. Yeah. All right. So we're going to take this. We're going to take the Discord first, and then we'll go to Leslie on the phone line, and then we'll finish this up. Let's do this. Rohan, you are on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash. Just need you to unmute your situation there, and you're on the show. Rohan, what's up? Rohan from the Fringe FM. Rohan. I love the name. The name.
Me too.
That's a Middle Earth reference. Rohan. The horse people. The riders of Rohan. Hell yeah.
Yep.
I love the reference. So yeah, just so you're here. I'm gonna send you the thing. I know you can probably hear us. We can't hear you. Here's why. I'm gonna send you the thing. It's like, here you go. Here's a little quick screenshot. This explains why we can't hear you.
You have to scream louder.
No, not scream louder. You'll wake up your neighbors. Just unmute yourself. Unmute your microphone, and you'll be on the show. You're in the on air queue with the rest of us, and we're good. My internet is a bit slow.
Yeah, it's in
today.
the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, there you go. Bottom left-hand corner. Is that what it is?
Is there a hotkey for it?
I'm not sure. You tell me. You're tapped into the alien stuff. Yeah,
I should know, but
you should know. Leslie, I got you. You're next. Hang tight. We'll get you on. We'll get you on the show in a sec.
And a lot of callers. You get this many callers normally?
It's I don't know, man. It's like it's a thing, you know. Like people like to talk about these things. Yeah. So
just freaking love aliens, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, not just aliens. Like we get the most calls when we talk about aliens, but we get calls when we talk about the surveillance state and the rest of this stuff too. So there's a lot. Again, right? Like think about it. There's a lot to have a troubled mind about. Am I right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I was just okay. So I worked in Silicon Valley. And I heard the conversations out there, and I saw the different lifestyles, the inequality, and I said this, dude, 7 years ago. I'm like, there's a fence going up, and we either gotta like tear that shit down, or I gotta get on the inside of that fence. I could see that's the language I use. The fence is going up.
Yeah, it's a big club, and you ain't part of it, right?
Exactly.
And so you have to find a way to get in or to GTF as far away as possible because they're going to come for you. They're going to come for you. Oh, my God.
Yeah, one thing to do is, I think Tim from Timcast mentioned this once, and it's true. Watch what the elites do. Don't listen to anyone. Just watch what the elites do because they have vast resources, and they're in the know. So when, like, Bill Gates buys up a shit ton of farmland in America, it's like, huh.
That's weird.
What are you doing that for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's weird.
That's totally weird. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. And so, like, again, like if you pay, and I mean this, like I was telling Often Frozen, and when he was on here with us on The Voice, it's true. If you pay close enough attention to the news and the propaganda, I promise you can derive closer to the truth than they'll ever tell you. Just pay attention, know they're lying to you, and then you're able to ascertain what's really happening. And as we saw with the GameStop stuff and the silver that happened afterward, they were lying about the silver. They were saying that GameStop, the next thing was they were targeting Reddit. Wall Street Bets was targeting silver, and they lied. It was a lie. It was a flat out lie. They were trying to manipulate the market through the media and get people to buy silver so that their dudes that have been sitting on silver hard forever, as it boosted, they could sell and recoup some of their losses from the GameStop. The media lied. They backed them up. Wait, we got
so like imagine the repercussions of that.
Yeah,
that means that those guys in the media are connected. Now you have to like imagine what does that exactly look like? Because those articles were coordinated across tons of platforms, ABC, NBC. Like it was the same article across all these platforms. How does something so coordinated in such short, like they took this bad situation, they tried to spin it within a day. They all had like a story, like a day.
Yeah.
That's freaking crazy.
Yeah, they mobilized. They mobilized to protect the establishment. Protects the establishment. Rohan, you're on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash. Can you hear me, buddy? We're listening for you.
We see your icon.
We see you.
It is moving now.
Something's happening. We don't hear anything.
Oh, something's happening.
Something's happening. We're waiting. Riders of Rohan, unite! What's up, man? Can you hear us? I know you can hear us. You're broadcasting green, but you're not, and you're unmuted, but we don't hear anything. So something's up on your end. We're clear and screaming through out to the stream. So test 1 2. Rohan, test.
Check mic. Check.
Check mic. Check mic 1 2.
Check 1 2.
What did Tamron say? Testicles 1 2.
I missed Tamron. I missed it.
You did. You were like AFK, like slurping up some Mars trough, whatever you.
Bro, I like passed out.
You passed out.
It's getting older. I just passed. I'm like, oh, let me just sit down for a second, and it's like the next day.
You took a power nap.
You know.
Took a power nap. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't think we're gonna get Rohan, so I'm gonna move Rohan out, and we'll go to the next caller. Hang tight, Rohan. We'll get right back to you if we can. If you're working.
Sorry, Rohan.
Yeah, it's okay. So I go back to the call, and Leslie hung up. Leslie, all right. Anyway, we're okay. So, all right.
Dang, do you want me to pretend to be a caller?
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Ash, you're on Trouble Minds with Mike. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. So my name's Jim. I got abducted, and I've got 8 nipples.
Oh dear God! Let me move you out.
Remember that guy?
I remember that guy.
Don't move me.
Oh, you were listening to the way we did that?
Yeah. I was. Yeah. But you're like, you moved him out as if he was joking, but he might have been telling the truth.
Yeah, he might have been telling. No. I suffered him for a little bit. Come on. I don't just like dump people out unless literally if they're like belligerent and like combative. I'm open for a conversation. I think that's the thing, right? But so many people are not. If you want to call me and tell me I'm wrong,
true.
If you want to tell me I'm wrong and tell me why, I'm okay with that. It's fine, that's what a conversation is. We're not allowed to do that anymore. And so people don't understand that it's like war. It's not. It's a conversation, people. It's a conversation. This isn't war at all.
No. InfoWars, right? And let me point something out. What do you say? Like, there's a difference between like 2 years ago and now, and I'm pointing out right now. Hey, Mike, I'm going to talk about the election.
No, don't.
Do you mind if I talk about the election?
Well,
I can.
As long as you don't say the thing you're not supposed to say, but not because of me.
But that's my point.
I want you to.
I don't care. I don't care if it is or isn't. Right? That's not the point I'm making.
Shit. I just don't want to get taken down from YouTube. That's all. But yeah.
No, absolutely. But my point is that like that is a big change, and we all accept it now. That's some China shit stuff, right?
I agree. Yeah.
That's like what they do in China, and now it's here, and it's fact. And like they're gonna move that like bar. They're gonna keep moving it. And we're not gonna be able to talk about shit soon.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we got this phone call from Leslie. Let's take this and let's finish this up. Leslie, you're on Trouble Minds with Mike and Ash. Go right ahead.
Oh.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
What's up?
Perfectly. Carry on. Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Well, you guys were talking about the lizard people. I have experience there.
Okay.
Please share.
Yeah, we want to hear. Sorry, go ahead.
Dimensional. Did you see David Icke's last with the Stone Brothers, his guest appearance or whatever, and he was talking about these inversions, the entities that are unseen, but people are seeing, like in the clouds, and in almost invisible ones, like the movie with Kevin Bacon, and he turns to the Invisible Man, and they're fighting in the water, and you can see like the shimmering around their shapes, but they're invisible.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I haven't seen that. I don't know.
I experienced that real, but it was only a part of some of them, they were on top of my head in the back, like hiding, trying not to see, and I got it on film.
No way.
They're really, yeah, but they're really small, and they are energy eaters, and they attack my heart chakra in my back to try and feed off of me, because human eyes can only see a small sliver, just like David Icke said, I agree. Small sliver of the visible light spectrum. So these guys have been around us the whole time, and they're involved in creating loosh, because this is a human loosh farm, and I am the dark realm matrix soul trap liberator. Penny shared my channel.
Oh, I like that plug right there.
I've seen them. There's like a bunch of little people. Then there's the bigger cartoon type. And then there's the, like, I call them like Snoopy Dog looking ones, but not with ears. Their heads go rounded on both sides, and they wear like black eye coverings on them. I've seen them in other people's films and then videos, and I've also seen them outside. I've seen a war going on in the street, and there was actually blood from these other beings. I made a video. I think I made a video. Well, I've experienced a lot of stuff, but I'll just see what you
So are you saying that these beings are cloaked and that you just happen to kind of get a gander, like a refraction of light? Or do you suspect that you are more in tune with like the ethereal realm or whatever you would call it, and that you can kind of are more exposed to them or more in tune to being able to detect them?
I also share my experiences with alignment with my multi-selves, because all of us, have a soul family, and what that means is that we are all the same persona, but we have different experiences, so we're all still unique, but we all are part of the same consciousness. It is an ocean of source creator consciousness having different experiences, and there is a collective consciousness, but these negative energy vampires, their mission, and they've been planning it a long time, and I've also felt that they are they're after more. We're pretty special. We have a life force energy where we exist for eternity, and they want to get their hands on that as the end goal. So they do something called a harvesting. What?
We're here with you. We're here. We're here. Wait. We're here. We're listening. We're just listening. Go right ahead.
Okay,
Go right ahead.
See, these carbon forms are not our state of origin. We are actually 12-stranded plasma crystalline beings of high energy frequency of light in the highest polarity, which is love itself. We were blindsided a long time ago, and we've been trapped in this cycle.
Right, because
and
I've heard this before. It's like
soul trapped liberator, and I share how to align with your soul family, your higher selves. We are all equal to them. It's just that we have amnesia. And more, I am ridding myself of amnesia, and I share that on my channel with everybody.
Okay, Leslie, can you do me a favor? Tell us where to find your channel, please. Please. People want to know.
Penny Bunny, Curious Bunny shared my link. I don't know if I can. I'm not a mod.
It's okay. It's okay. You can just tell us what the channel is called so people know what to search.
Leslie High.
Okay, search Leslie High, guys. LeslieHigh, and that will take you to her channel. Penny is sharing Leslie's channel in the chat, and you guys can find it there. Leslie, you're welcome on the show anytime. We're going to go check out your channel. Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much for sharing, okay?
The world needs to hear.
I agree. That's why we're here doing this.
Absolutely.
That's why you're doing your channel. Ash has got his channel. That's why we're doing this show. The world needs to hear. You're the best, Leslie. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Okay, bye for now. Much love.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great night. Have a great night. Simple as that, right? You guys can be part of the show. As it continues, we'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific. We'll be on the Fringe FM. We'll be on YouTube. We'll be on Facebook. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Ash, for being here tonight. Thank you, Often Frozen. Thank you, Kelly, for the call. My goodness, there's so many calls I can't even remember as we go back further and further. There's so many people that, look, dude. Like, Ash, I told you, it's a dream, right? Like, you, dude, Frank and I streamed for 6 months without a damn call. And then finally, Kelly called, and then now look at, dude.
Wait, you tell me this isn't the norm, Mike?
No, we have
if I started streaming day one, I wouldn't get 7 calls.
No, bro. Axel, yes, Axel called. So many great calls tonight. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, this is good. Look, and this is the thing, right? It's not about, again, right? Think about it. Like you could have me being a demagogue and telling you to vote left or to vote right or to believe in this or to believe in that or the God is this or the God is that or the other thing or the other thing. I don't care. Believe what you want. The conversation to me is the most important thing. Ash, you're amazing. Let's finish this up. Thanks for being here tonight, my man.
No problem, man.
It makes the conversation better. It really does.
I'm going to try and make it well, I don't know. We'll have to see if the boss allows it, but I'll try and make it every Wednesday.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's see if we can get you on at least once a week. That would be amazing. And we'll talk about UFOs and aliens and the rest of the things. So
the Fringe, right?
Yeah, the Fringe, dude, on the actual radio, can you believe this?
Yeah.
So okay. So
yeah. No, I can't.
We're in the ratings game. Think about it this way: they are matching us up ratings wise with Coast to Coast. All right.
No.
Yes. He's talking to Joe Roop, and he told me inside information, so I'm not going to go into details, but he said we're close to catching Coast to Coast ratings-wise with the Fringe FM. So it's not just us. So it's us, and then we have Lighting the Void with actually before us. It even gets better because before we started, an hour before we started, there was Jess Rogie doing an interview with Avi Loeb of Oumuamua.
Who is Avi Loeb?
That's the Oumuamua dude. He's a Harvard. He's like one of the top 5.
Oh, that guy.
That guy. Yeah.
Well, the scientist who came to that conclusion that it was alien.
Yes, was on Fringe FM the hour previous to us coming on. So look.
Do you feel it? Do you feel like it tipping, like slowly tipping over into the disclosure?
I think it feels that way.
It feels it. It could go back. It could totally go back.
I think so. I agree. And so the thing is though, is that we're just like Alex Jones. Like I started, and in the very beginning of the show, I said I hate to admit it, Alex Jones was right. We're in an information war, and this is the problem, right? Like we're not even allowed to think freely anymore because it's going to be censored. Like you said, we can't talk about the election. There's certain things we can say and we cannot say. You can't bring up that particular 17th letter of the alphabet or you're fact-checked. Dude, look at the show I did yesterday. I'm not shitting you. Just pull it up. I talked about that 17th letter of the alphabet barely for like maybe 90 seconds less than 90 seconds. And I even said, I don't even believe it. And they fact-checked me on YouTube and put like the,
whoa.
R and on. Yeah. Dude, it's word by word now. And so you have to be extremely careful what you say.
Yeah, and I'm going to dance around it. I'm not going to get into it.
Thank you.
I promise. But I had a friend who said something about that, and I was like, "What? What are you even talking about?" He's like, "No, it was this." I'm like, "Man, that has nothing to do with that." And he links me to an article, and this article was talking about that subject. I literally had no idea what the hell it was talking about. But you can't even look up the real stuff anymore. It's so buried. It's so gone. So in that movement, there are legitimate concerns. And I could literally just say one thing, and I'm not going to say it. And you go, wow, what the hell? And every single person I've ever shown it to, they go quiet and they go, what the hell is this? And there's legitimate stuff in there. And it was a weird thing. We used to talk about it openly. But I mean, the way that they were able to remove it, and now we can't even talk about it. That's some scary crap, man. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. We should be able to talk about anything, you know. That's how we learn. We talk about stuff that's kind of far out there right now on the show. We go out there and we come back. We go out there and come back. But a lot of times we go out there and we were right. You know, like we talked about COVID before it happened. Imagine if we couldn't talk about it.
We were right. Dude, we were right. And that's the thing. Like, you pay attention. If you pay close enough attention to the news cycle, dude, I've got news stories running through my damn head. I can't remember what day is what because it's become part of my life now. But I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that if you pay close enough attention, you start to become a soothsayer. You start to become a modern day Nostradamus because you can see what's happening because they telegraph it by the way they make pivots and changes the things they say when they say it. And if you're in tune with it, you understand when they change and pivot. But if you're not, you don't realize that the news cycle just changed. So you know what I mean? It's out there. It's available.
Well, no insider. You start to learn their tools.
Exactly right.
Like Alex Jones talks about all this stuff for so long. He's an expert on these things. He's like, he doesn't, that last 5-10%, he's like, lack of a better word, retarded. Like that's a word he used for himself, by the way. It's a joke, he was on Joe Rogan. He's like, Joe Rogan, I'm kind of retarded. Like that's a quote from Alex Jones. But he's been in the business so long. He's been exposed to so much. He's had so much insiders. I mean, he was on Timcast. It was the last thing he was on. I was trying to get him to talk about mantis aliens. I donated $100. I tried. And then they freaking got caught up in a tangent. They got all emotional. And they got distracted.
I remember.
But
I remember.
I was so close. I was trying to.
So close.
So close. They're reading comments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone said something about mantis aliens, and I was like, tried to follow up. I couldn't believe someone said something about it. Anyway,
let's wrap this up.
Yeah, but Alex Jones,
let's wrap this up.
He's he's really good at he talks about their tools and the elites, and he talks about it in a kind of crazy, convoluted way, but he's right. And he picks up on those things, and if you're in the news cycle long enough, like you are, Mike, you see the patterns, you see things, you pick it up.
It starts to become a second nature, yeah. And again, it all blurs together, but then when something clicks, you start to notice, Again, I do a news show, guys, 5 days a week, Sunday through Thursday, 3 p.m. You want to hear my take on the news from the guy that watches the news every single day? Come listen. And I'm not always right because I'm human. But also, because I'm human, I'm also right quite a lot. So come check it out. Again, it's not political. I'm not trying to tell you what to believe or to think or any of those things. You do you. I'll do me. We'll get together and we'll have a good conversation. That's what it's all about. We have open lines there.
Amen, brother.
We have open Discord there. The same thing as this. It's the same thing. It's just a shorter format. Let's wrap it up. Bob Lazar, what do you think? Final thought.
I guess I'll always just kind of be 51% 49. I think that's kind of the safe way to be. With everything that's out there, you can believe anything, and you could say nothing's real, right? But I think over time he's kind of proved his credibility, and I have a lot of respect for sticking to his guns, and his story's been the same for a long time. And lot of these things have come true. And I think he's telling the truth. I mean, when he went on Joe Rogan, that really put me over the edge. He did not look like he even wanted to do that. So yeah, I'm down. And as far as alien reproduction vehicles, whether they're from aliens or not, the government's got some weird shit. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Everybody, please follow Leslie High on YouTube. Please follow the Curious Bunny and Penny Bunny on YouTube. Please follow Ash, the reptilian from Mars, who's right here with me. Gracious enough with this time to do the show tonight. Thank you, Ash. I appreciate it a lot. It's like I said, I can do it myself. It's fine. I'm not tripping. But a conversation with two people makes it so much better, and especially with your knowledge of the alien aspect coming from Mars. Hey, man, we need to go have a drink on Mars at the Tiki Bar. Let's do
I'll be there next week.
Let's do it. Let's do it. You guys are the best. Thanks
I may not be able to get back, but I'll be there.
All right, perfect. You'll have to do the intergalactic Uber and call the Elon Musk rocket to bring it back. All right, you guys are the best. Thanks. Listen, Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Ash. Ash has been a longtime co-host to this show. If you guys, I know a lot of you are just introduced to him tonight on the Fringe FM. So here's the thing. We're going to go 3 times a week like we've been doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 7 p.m. Pacific, Troubled Minds. Sunday through Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific is the news show with Michael Strange. Come hang out with us. TroubledMinds.org is the official website. Most importantly of any of all that, just tell a friend. Tell a friend you're not insane. Come listen. It's okay to understand and listen to the news in a non-political fashion, and I do my best. I do my best. I'm human, but I do my best. Ash, thank you so much again for being here. It's a pleasure. 1, because I love you and you're my friend and you're my brother. 2, it makes a better conversation for everybody else. Thank you so much.
Hey man, thank you for letting me come on and say some crazy shit. I appreciate it.
Crazy shit.
Good outlet. And it's always fun, man. It's always a good time.
Thank you. Agreed 100%. All right, we're done. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific, and also 3 p.m. Pacific. Conspiracy News with Michael Strange, 3 o'clock. Troubled Minds, 7 p.m. on the Fringe FM. Streaming on YouTube and Facebook. Come join us. You guys are the best. You make the world go around. You're all number 1 in my heart. Thank you so much. This is my new outro, and I love it. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. And from our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. Shout out to Rolf. Rolf, back in the day. I see you there, buddy. I see you there in the chat. I didn't say hi. Thanks for showing up, Rolf. Shamanix, I see you there too. I didn't say hi to you guys. I like to be social as much as possible. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Ash, you're the best. Ash, you're the best. Have a good night, guys. Catch you later.
Good night, everyone.
Everybody check out Curious Bunny live Saturday with the Hidden Underbelly 2.0. The Curious Bunny on YouTube. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for hanging out.